Call Halayim La, Yahweh, Hashem Yahushua, Hashem Dash. Double honors to the apostles and elders, a great millstone. Peace, blessings, and salutations to the hopefully elect. And a sincere Akim, pushing his word, wishing their lives and their freedom to do so. This GMS Philadelphia Plaintables camp, back out here another week to prophesy their downfall of this abominable wicked kingdom, to help wake the elect up who have been scattered through the four corners of the earth, mainly here in the Americas, where the so-called blacks, so-called Latinos, and so-called Native Americans, and the speckled bird that reside in other nations that look like the other nations but come from the seed of Jacob. To you we say Shalom. A lot is happening in the world. A lot of prophecies are being fulfilled. And it's a beautiful time to be alive and to know that, you know, we are the promised seed of Yasharallah, Jacob. So, and we also know that 2/3 of Israel is going to be cut off and die because they stiff-necked and hard-hearted, and they worship and following after the customs, the laws of these other nations. So, 1 Peter 4, verse 17.
It's the book of 1 Peter chapter 4, verse 17. It says, "For the time is come that judgment must begin at the house of the Most High."
Yeah, judgment. So by the hand of who? Our enemies. Judgment is going to start at the house of Jacob. You know, because Jacob loved the ways of this world. You know, you can explain to Jake from now until tomorrow how he's supposed to conduct himself and who his enemy is. He'll disregard the information that you gave him, regardless of how factual it is, and continue to follow behind his wicked brother, Sleazy E. So judgment must begin at the house of the Lord. Read.
And it says, and if it first begin at us, what shall the end be of them that obey not the gospel of the Most High?
If Yahweh Shemel going to punish his people, the ones that he had a contract with, a covenant with, if he's going to punish us with all kind of death, you know, in brutalization, concentration camps, you know, famine. If he going to persecute his own people, imagine what he's going to do to Esau and the rest of the nations. And we witnessing the crumbling of Esau's society, starting with his banking system. You know, they had a bank run yesterday. One of the banks in America had a bank run. Basically, the whole financial system is about to collapse because it's built and created from a fiat currency, which is money that's backed, that don't have no intrinsic value. It's money that he created. So,
the only way they make money is by interest and fees.
Yep.
So if everybody take their money out, the banks can't make no money.
Yep. And hundreds of thousands of people, their deposits were being stripped away from them, and they wouldn't be able to. They couldn't. They basically lost their money, and that's the start of this new financial system that's coming to play. You know, what's going to start with the MOTB. So the financial system has to collapse in order for it to be a reset.
Well, they didn't lose their money; they just froze it. Whatever monies they have, their bank didn't close down. It just the government took control of the deposits for momentarily. They're saying that it's a sign that the financial system is about to collapse, to transition to another system.
They said I was watching on Fox Business and such. They had an individual who's pretty much obviously an economist. He was speaking about how in 60 days he expects a stock market crash and such. And though, like I said, if it don't happen, we know, of course, at that particular prescribed time, we know that it will happen, because that actually is a biblical prophecy written in Zephaniah, which I have if you want.
Go ahead.
This is the book of Zephaniah, chapter 1, and this is verse, and starting at verse 10, and it says, "And it shall come to pass in that day, said the Lord Yahweh, that there shall be a noise of a cry from the fish gate, and an howling from the second, and a great crashing from the hells."
You got it, huh?
Con, and you have it where.
Where it says how you have it in the next text.
Oh, yeah, 10. That's verse 11. It says, verse 11, "How ye inhabitants of Maktesh,
That's America. Now look up Mac-Tesh what it means. Break it down.
That's Zechariah 1 and I think that's 10.
America is the merchant city.
Merchant city, yeah. Precept.
In the Bible, America is known as a merchant city.
Daughter. Yep. Yeah.
Mac-Tesh.
He's
Not talking about ancient Mac-Tesh, talking about America.
Yep.
Babylon, America.
no.
Not maybe traffic or something like that. Traffic or merchant city. I was looking up a couple of years ago.
It's a place where, yeah. Yep. Yeah, he gonna go. Easily go precept.
Have them look it up and you break it down.
Okay.
You speak it.
Yeah, kind.
So, yeah, I'll get it. So I'll get it. Sure. All right. Yeah, so Mac-Tesh, go back to the Hebrew word Ma-Kathash, which means a mortar or a hollow or a valley, evidently a greater than Jerusalem or Jerusalem area. It says a place in Jerusalem. Let me see if I can find some more. It's here. It's got mortar. Let me see. Go into it. Ain't much here. It's not much here. Yeah, that's it.
Traffic. Look at traffic. There should be traffic. There should be something like that. You got traffic. Well, it might be different precepts.
You're talking about traffic. That's in Isaiah.
Okay.
By that, or Ezekiel. Ezekiel. By that traffic that have got riches and have, yeah. Ezekiel, chapter 28.
5.
Yep, and 5, which it says, it's Ezekiel chapter, 28 and 5. It says, by thy great wisdom and by thy traffic, which goes into merchandising and trade, right? Thou hast increased thy riches.
Hold it there. Look it up.
Kind. Yeah, going into the Hebrew word for traffic. The word for traffic go to rakala, which means in the definition, traffic, merchandise, and trade. Yeah, that's it. And from the root, which is recalled, which means to go about, or trafficker or a trader. All right. All right. By thy great wisdom and by thy traffic, thou hast increased thy riches.
Because America is the number one place where people bring their goods here and make money. And the world is drunk off, the wine and the wrath of fornication. So this is the number one place where all business is done. But what's going to happen is the financial system is going to collapse, which is going to bring down all the paper money in the world, and it's going to be total chaos.
Look up globalist system, global site. Look up that phrase. Globalist.
There's something called order out of chaos. So amongst this chaos that's happening, the elites of the world is going to bring order. And that order is the M to the O to the T to the B. All roads lead to the microchip. So everything that's happening, from the banks collapsing, to the food shortages, to the water being contaminated, all those things, there's pressure from above, pressure from below, which is going to force everybody to receive that M to the O to the T to the B. Yeah.
You got that term? You want it there? All right.
I got globalism.
Yep.
It says globalism. It says globalism, political ideology related to interconnections across the world. New world order. Which
that's their slogan, the New World Order.
Yeah.
New World Order. It's an order that they want everybody to follow. And it's called the New World Order. Yeah. Everything is going to be under their control. They're going to know where you at all times. They're going to know what you're thinking. They're going to know how much money you're spending. They want to know where you're working at. Everything is going to be total control. Basically, they're going to control every aspect of your life.
Yeah. And you want it all integrated. This is actually a term they actually had, I believe, at that Davos summit recently that they had with the, what's that, World Economic Forum. They were speaking using this term of globalization and such, which is another term really umbrella around the NWO, the New World Order.
Yeah, that goes back to Psalms 64.
Yep.
But that's just the front. They already had these real meetings on it. That's just the front.
Yeah.
They're not discussing nothing in there that's going to be earth-shattering and groundbreaking that they didn't already discuss in private. All right, they have certain circles, all right, and it's not open to the public. All right. Get Psalm 64. And Psalms 83.
Yep. Book of Psalms, chapter 64, starting at verse 1. All right. Or, I mean, it might be this. Yeah, so Psalm 64, and that is, verse 1. It says, start there. Hear my voice, O power, in my prayer. Preserve my life from the fear of the enemy.
Because we rely on the Lord for the want and the need of all things. We begging the Lord to hear our prayers, because we know that we're in the hands of our enemies, and the only power that's able to help us is Yahweh Shem Yahushua. Read.
Hide me from the secret counsel of the wicked.
Yeah, place that umbrella over us. Use your angels to place a hedge of protection around us from the hand of our enemies. Read.
From the insurrection of the workers of iniquity.
Because that's what they do. They sit back and they plot and plan on, how they going to, bring Jacob into subjection. Whether it be poison in our food, whether it be poison in the water, whether it be poison in the air. Everything that they do is concentrated around keeping us in a dumb state and killing us, essentially. But,
right. It says, who whet their tongue like a sword and bend their bows.
Their words are used to cut Jacob to pieces by their policies. They implement that, the max jabbing of our people from the womb.
The immunizations. Yeah, immunizations and such. Different so-called viruses, right?
And even the things that they teach you in school. And what they tongue as a sword.
Yeah.
They sit there and tell you in school, that this land wasn't stolen. But this land was founded by, Christopher Columbus. And that's detrimental to our spirit. Because it's contrary to the facts.
Yeah, the truth.
Yeah.
Yeah, and they knew as Edomites about Hebrews dwelling in the land of Arsaretha, America. Another land. Right? It says, and bend their bows to shoot their arrows, even better words.
Con. You got that.
Con. Of course, due their words and such, they have polluted Jake. With of course, these different various doctrines and philosophies which are contrary to what we're supposed to believe in such. We're supposed to actually trust in our power. You have it where they're bringing different objects actually of dread to us. All right, that's what the workers of iniquity is bringing. They're bringing a Sharat. They're bringing a MOTB. All right, they want, of course, you to be all inclusive or universal with their system. All right, because globalization goes beyond just products. It goes with you being a product, being a part of the, as they call it, or deemed the internet of bodies or internet of things. All right? Well, in real time, everything is tracked and traced, and they know every little micromanage detail about something. All right? So it goes beyond smart devices. They want you to be a smart device.
Yep.
All right?
Finish that?
Yeah.
James 5:1.
Yep.
God, this James 5:1. It says, "Go to now, ye rich men, weep and howl for your miseries that shall come upon you."
Yeah, go to now, we rich men. Who are rich men? The elite, the Bilderbergers, the Rockefellers, the Bears, the Fords, the Henrys, the Oppenheimers. Go to now, ye rich men. Weep and howl for great miseries that shall come upon you. And what are one of those great miseries? Revelation 13.
Revelation 13 and 14. Yeah. Oh, something, right? Revelation. This is the book of Revelation, chapter 13. And it's like he that leadeth in captivity. Yep. Yeah. It's like it. 13 and that'll be verse 10. It says, I'll start at verse 9. It says, if any man have an ear, let him hear.
Yeah, we all got 2 ears. But
it says, he that leadeth into captivity.
Who led the Israelites into captivity? Start with Esau, Edom, the Ishmael, and the Isn't-Realites. Go ahead.
It says, shall go into captivity.
Yeah, he that leadeth into captivity shall go into captivity. And that's the great misery, that the elites, when they go down into those bunkers, and you're going to snatch them out of there and put them into captivity, And all the destruction that they did to the world, they're going to have to clean up. Go back to James.
Con, it says James 5 and 2. It says your riches are corrupted and your garments are moth-eaten.
Yeah, your riches are corrupted. Fiat currency is a corruption. Is a money that's created out of thin air. It's corrupted. It's fake. Go ahead.
It says your gold and silver is cankered,
Yup.
and the rust of them shall be a witness
The rest
against
of them
you.
should be a witness against you, because the whole world is coming to the realization that your financial system is a scam, and it's going to be a witness against you. You know, and the Lord frowns upon what they say about an unjust weight, unjust balances. An unjust weight is abomination to the Lord. You can't have a financial system where you loaning out more money than you have. It's just like me having $5 in my pocket, and I'm able to loan out $30 when I only have five actual dollars in my pocket. If I was to go around doing that to people, I would be arrested. So how is this man allowed to create his own currency, blow on the 10?
Yeah, I got it.
Go ahead, you got it. Right.
Yeah, this the book of Proverbs, chapter 20 and verse 10. It says, diverse weights and diverse measures, both of them are like abomination to the Yahweh.
You can't basically rip the people off. Because that's what's happening. You're ripping the people off. You're saying they weigh one thing, but then they weigh another. You see what I'm saying? That's the rip off. And that's how you built your empire. On fiat currency. Basically just stealing from the people. And it's going to be a witness against you, because the internet is here now. And people can find out exactly what you're doing just from a few pushes of the button. Go ahead, back to James.
Con, it says your gold and silver is cankered, and the rust of them shall be a witness against you, and shall eat your flesh as it were fire.
Because those missiles, when they come down, this place is going to be eviscerated. Eat your flesh as fire. Because that's the ultimate judgment for the wickedness that you have perpetuated throughout the four corners of the earth. ICBMs coming here, eating your flesh as fire. Go ahead.
It says ye have heaped treasure together for the last days.
Yeah, he went around the whole world. He raped, robbed, and pillaged the whole world from all the minerals in every continent. Who's standing there with the bag like Rumpelstiltskin full of gold? You. But
it says verse 4, behold, the hire of the laborers who have reaped down your fields, which is of you kept back by
who
fraud.
are the laborers? The Israelites. Because we came here and built this kingdom from free labor. Read that again.
Gone. It says James 5 and 4. It says, behold, the hire of the laborers who have reaped down your fields, which is of you kept back by fraud.
Yeah, because you didn't pay us. You frauded us too out of our money. And until this day, you still don't want to give us reparations. We don't want your money because it's corrupted. But
it says, and the cries of them which have reaped are enter into the ears of the Lord of Sabaoth.
They say the prayers from a poor man's mouth. Somebody get that? Prayer from a poor man's mouth reaches the Most High ears speedily.
Yeah, I got a precept as
Go
well.
ahead, you got to read it.
This is the book of Lamentations, chapter 4, verse 22. It says, the punishment of thine iniquity is accomplished, O daughter of Zion. He will no more carry thee away into captivity.
Yeah, the punishment of our iniquity is over with. This is the last captivity that we're going to be in. So our punishment is over with. Read it again.
This is the book of Lamentations, chapter 4, verse 22. It says, the punishment of thine iniquity is accomplished, O daughter of Zion. He will no more carry thee away into captivity.
Yeah, who is that he? Sleazy E. Or our enemies. They will no longer carry us away into our captivity. The punishment is up. This is like when you're a kid, you go on punishment. Your mom or your father take away all your toys and tell you to sit in the room and stare at the walls until 12 o'clock. So 12 o'clock is here. Our punishment is up. Go ahead.
Yep. And continuing, it says, he will visit thine iniquity.
Exactly. The Lord is going to visit your iniquity. You're not going to get away with it. You're not going to just do whatever you want to do and then think that no judgment going to come to you. That's ludicrous. The Lord punished us, put us in rape, robbed, and did all kind of things to us, buck breaking us, separating us from our families. Even to this day, you separate us from our families. You give a woman housing and financial assistance, and you tell her that that a man, her husband, cannot dwell in the same houses. So you still hurting us. Go ahead.
Yep. It says, he will visit thine iniquity, O daughter of Edom. He will discover thy sins.
The sins are being discovered by the mouths of the prophets. As we out here in the highways and the byways, and the Lord revealed the secrets to his servants and prophets, and we warning our people who you are. Because before we came out here, you had no idea who your enemy was. You didn't have no idea who we were as a people. Go back to who was that?
You wanted the other precept?
James 5.
You want the other
Yeah. Come on.
Oh, you want the precept? This the book of Ecclesiastes, chapter 4, and this is verse. I'm gonna start at 4. It says, "Reject not the supplication of the afflicted, neither turn away thy face from the poor man."
Yeah, reject not the supplication of the afflicted. Who the afflicted? The Israelites. Go ahead.
"Turn not away thine eye from the needy, and give him none occasion to curse thee. For if he curse thee in the bitterness of his soul, his prayers shall be heard of him that made him."
Yeah, a lot of our people, when they go through hardships, they want to blame it on God. They want to take their frustration out on and curse God, as if we are sinless people. Go ahead. I don't think that was the one though.
Okay. Let's see where it goes on.
Go ahead, go back to James.
Okay. Yep.
God. It says James 5:5. It says, "Ye have lived in pleasure on the earth, and have been wanton."
Yeah, you lived in pleasure on the earth. Everywhere you go, all the vacation resorts, who got their feet up chilling with a margarita? With all the hot cars, all the pretty women. You lived in pleasure. From all the theft that you did, gave you the ability to go around the world and be on vacation your whole life. Go ahead.
It says, "Ye have lived in pleasure on the earth, and have been wanton. Ye have nourished your hearts, as in the day of slaughter."
Go ahead.
It says, "Ye have condemned and killed the just."
Yeah, you condemned and killed the just. We condemn people. We are condemned people. We slaughtered all day, every day. It's not a day that we come outside that we don't feel threatened by Jake or even by the police. We condemned. There's no freedom here. Even if you do make it to the top of the echelon, your children could be driving in the car and the cop will pull them over and blow their brains out. So we condemn. This is a death sentence here.
Yeah, and I was going to say too, especially us who's coming out in the highways and hedges, all right, telling you your true identity, all right. We're the most condemned, all right, because what happened with Kanye, Kyrie, they brought out a little bit of truth, and what happened? All right, got shut down. All right, so us coming out in the highways and hedges, we targeted from all sides. 2/3 heathens, Esau. All right. Yeah, so.
Oh yeah.
Good, all right.
Yeah, he want this one. This Ecclesiastes chapter 21:5. It says, "A prayer of a poor man's mouth reacheth the ears of the Most High."
The prayers of a poor man's mouth reaches the ears of the Most High. That's all we have. That's all we have is the Yakalba Page. Who else gonna aid us in our time of need? Who else? We in the hand of our enemy. We're actually in the middle of his palm, and he can squeeze us whenever he wants. So how are we gonna get out of here? The Yakalba Page. In order for you to know that and understand it, you have to have faith. You have to have hope. Got it out.
Now I can also say, first off, Esau is the Most High's sword, so realistically, the Most High has all, judgment over that. So like, this, the Most High can easily put it in Esau to, fully, bring us down, right? It's because of the grace that the Most High has on us that He's not doing that. Yeah. So obviously, Esau is at the hand of the Most High, man. It's like the scriptures say, the Most High is, or the king's heart is in the hands of the Lord, and He, do it whatever, so He will, Yep. And like I said, the Esau is the Most High's sword, so like you can't possibly compete against that, There's nothing you can do against Esau as long as the Most High is backing him. I mean, that's why we gotta wait upon the Lord.
That's right. Read it again.
Yep. It says, Ecclesiastes chapter 21:5. It says, "A prayer of a poor man's mouth reacheth the ears of the Most High, and His judgment cometh speedily."
The judgment cometh speedily. Give Revelation 8 verse 3.
Revelation 8 verse 3.
Yeah,
This is the book of Revelation 8 verse 3, and it says, "And another angel came and stood at the altar, having a golden censer, and there was given unto him much incense, that he should offer it with the prayer of all the saints upon the golden altar, which is before the throne.
So when you pray, when the saints pray, we were the Israelites, the angels take the prayers with the golden censer and give it to the Yahweh Shem Shah and burn it before him. And he loved that smell. The Lord loved when you cry unto him. You know? They say that the Lord draws nigh unto him with a broken heart and a contrite spirit. That's how we're supposed to walk around here. Broken hearted with a contrite spirit, always praying to the Lord, praying without ceasing. Back to James.
God, it says James 5 and 6, he hath condemned and killed the just, and he doth not resist you.
Yeah, we don't resist them. When have we ever had a revolt here in America? A major revolt here in America against our oppressors. It didn't happen. We didn't pick up swords. There's a few accounts in history, but it wasn't no major ones where the whole cities revolted against, our captivity. Go ahead.
God, it says, verse 7, it says, be patient, therefore, brethren, unto the coming of the Lord.
Yeah, that's what we're waiting on. We're waiting on Yahweh Shem Shah. They say our weapons of warfare are not carnal. They say, wait ye upon me, so I'll rise up against the prey. Read.
It says, behold, the husbandman waited for the precious fruit.
Yeah, we the precious fruit. He waiting to come deliver us. And we waiting on him to crack the sky, to deliver us. What?
It says, behold, the husbandman waited for the precious fruit of the earth, and hath long patience for it.
Yeah, we the precious fruit of the earth. The Lord love us. He can't wait, to deliver us and drink wine and share his kingdom with us. What?
It says, until he received the early and latter rain.
Yeah, until he received the early and latter rain, because some of the saints passed away. And the latter rain is us standing here on the highways and the byways, doing his work.
Lamentations 4 and 1. Oh, he got something.
But I got something going.
Amos chapter 7, verse 17. Therefore, thus saith the Lord, the Most High, thou wife shall be an harlot in the city.
Yeah, your wife shall be a harlot in the city. All these women that have more than one man and your man is living. If you have a husband and you decide that you want to leave him and go jump on another cock carousel, if he still got breath in his body, you commit adultery and you're a harlot. Our wives shall be harlots in the city. That's a curse. The woman is the glory of the man. And whenever your woman go out there and jump from mushroom top to mushroom top, it actually destroys the man. So if you're not connected to Yahweh Shem Shah, when that thing happens to you, you're going to crumble and fold. This water that's in these scriptures is the only thing that's holding, you see them saying the saints in one piece. Go ahead.
And thy sons and thy daughters shall fall by the sword.
Nah, you look around. We're in Philadelphia. What's the murder rate here? This is astronomical. You have 13 and 12 and 14-year-old little boys out here with guns that they can't even pronounce, with magazines in them, 100-round magazines, and they effeminate. So whenever they get into an argument with somebody, they run around, they take their frustrations out instead of having a conflict resolution. They don't have a conflict resolution like men. They don't have minds that think rationally like men. They've been raised by women. So whenever they get into an argument, the first thing they want to do is grab their gun. And in Philadelphia, it's sad here. What if we read it again?
All right. Amos chapter 7, verse 17. Therefore, thus saith the Lord, thy wife shall be a harlot in the city, and thy sons and thy daughters shall fall by the sword.
And that's just not happening here. It's happening in Chicago. It's happening in all the major cities throughout Babylon. Our wives are harlots in the city. Our sons and our daughters shall fall by the sword. But
and thy land shall be divided by line, and thou shalt die in a polluted land, and Israel shall surely go into captivity forth of his land.
Yeah, we dying in a polluted land. Somebody get me on Numbers 35 and 33. Because once our blood touched this ground, it's crying to the Lord. What?
It says Numbers 35 and 33. It says, so ye shall not pollute the land wherein ye are.
Yeah, it's an order. You should not pollute the land wherein ye are. What?
For blood it defileth the land.
Blood defileth the land. So once the Israelite blood touched this ground, it's polluted and it's defiled. Go ahead.
It says, and the land cannot be cleansed of the blood that is shed therein, but by the blood of him that shed it.
Yeah, the land cannot be cleansed by the blood of. Just read it again.
It says, and the land cannot be cleansed of the blood that is shed therein, but by the blood of him that shed it.
Fine. So, Sleazy E, you shed our blood. So the only way this land can be cleansed is by the blood of those that shed it. So the ultimate way that your blood is going to be shed here is thermonuclear destruction. You know, so our wives is heartless in the city, our sons and daughters shall fall by the sword, and we in the hand of our enemy, and he's responsible for our comfort. So we've been dying here, and the land is polluted. So now your blood got to be shed. We're not going to do it, y'all about Shemal Shah here. We just out here telling you your judgment.
Got cool. Ezekiel 35 and 5. It says, because thou hast had a perpetual hatred and hast shed the blood of the children of Israel.
Fine. Our brother, our sleazy brother Esau have a perpetual hatred, which means a never ending hatred. So no matter how much you love him, he has a perpetual hatred towards you. What?
It says, and has shed the blood of the children of Israel by the force of the sword in the time of their calamity, in the time that their iniquity had an end.
Yeah, Sleazy E has a perpetual hatred for him. He's sitting back plotting and planning on how he gonna continue to hurt you. And it's all because of the blessing. You know, he sold his birthright for a morsel of meat because he had no respect towards it. You know, and he wasn't hungry. He just didn't have any patience. And because he did that, you know, it gave us the right to rule over him. You know, and once he realized that his father gave us the blessings, and then from then on, he decided in his heart that he was going to murder us. Anybody got something else?
Yeah. Ready?
Yeah.
It's more.
Go ahead. It's locked in.
It says, verse 6, therefore as I live, saith the Lord Yahweh, I will prepare thee unto blood, and blood shall pursue thee. Sith thou hast not hated blood, even blood shall pursue thee.
Yeah. Sleazy, he don't cringe when he see blood. Everywhere he go everywhere in the world and rape, rob, and pillage, and he come home, and he don't fucking lose sleep at night. So he loved blood. He even eat his food, with blood in it. That's his nature. Exactly. Since he didn't hate blood is going to pursue him. You know, and that's going to be a beautiful thing. You know what I mean? To see the fall of our enemy, to know that comfort is coming. To know that we gonna be singing on our bed once this demon get put in captivity. But
yeah, the scriptures say, how basically this devil can't even sleep at night, unless he done some wickedness. So it says, verse 7, thus will I make Mount Seir the most desolate.
Yeah, he's gonna make Mount Seir most desolate. Start with Babylon. This place is gonna be inhabited by wild desert creatures. No man is gonna be able to inhabit this land here. Desert and wild creatures gonna be here. It's gonna be for memorial for the generations to come, that this were the children of Israel were brought here for our last and final captivity by the hand of our brother Sleazy E. And he committed all kinds of atrocities towards us. And the punishment for his crimes was for him to shed his blood.
It said, thus will I make Mount Seir most desolate, and cut off from it him that passes out and him that returneth. Yeah, that's it.
You got it up.
Psalms chapter 55, verse 21. The words of his mouth were smoother than butter.
Yeah, who have more witchcraft when he speaks than Sleazy E? Every time he opens his mouth is to put a spell on him.
But war was in his heart.
Yeah, war is in his heart. He cut his beard off. He put a suit on, a tie on. He looked so smooth. But the whole time, whatever he's saying is to put you in an tank, to hurt you. His words are smooth as butter. You know, the Lord he told the world that the Son of the Heavenly Father loves everybody. That he was white, with blonde hair and blue eyes. You know, all you got to do is be a good person, and you'll be saved. You can eat pork, you can eat shrimp, you can eat lobster. You know, that's the words of his mouth are smooth as butter. The war is in his heart, because he know that once you eat all those abominable foods, you're going to be destroyed. The war is in his heart. Don't let him deceive you. Trust not thy enemy. But
His words were softer than oil, yet were they drawn swords.
and eventually he's going to show you who he is. Eventually, he's actually going to pull out the physical sword and insert it in you when his words no longer work no more. Because the prophets are in the highways and the byways, and we exposing his words. And you know, 1/3 of Israel is not going to fall in subjection to that witchcraft that he's speaking. And he's going to come with a sword and try to stick it in us, but the Lord is going to step in and protect us.
Yeah. This is the book of
That was 14:1. We read that.
John. This is the book of Sirach, chapter 12, verse 16. It says, an enemy speaking sweetly with his lips.
Yeah, Sleazy is our enemy. He's speaking sweetly with his lips.
But in his heart, he imagineth how to throw thee into a pit. He will weep with his eyes, but if he find opportunity, he will not be satisfied with blood.
14. Well, speaking about that, one way they try to do it is through doctrine. You got Nathaniel, the IUIC, his group, Bishop Nathaniel. He's saying that you're gonna burn in hell forever. Apparently, that's what he's saying. So we're gonna debunk that in detail. We're gonna debunk that in detail. We're gonna start off with Isaiah 14:1, and go into Lucifer also. I'll break down the first verse, and you break down the rest. Jump down to where it says Lucifer. So read that 14:1.
God, Isaiah 14:1, it says, for the Lord Yahweh will have mercy upon Jacob, and yet choose Israel.
That right there proves there's no such thing as hell, burning in hell forever. That's just that verse right there. And will yet choose Israel. What?
And set them in their own land.
Yeah, 100% of Israelites are going to go back to the land of Israel by the power of Yahweh and the Son Yahweh Shai. Now, if you're here in America, you're going to die in the hellfire. All right? And we're going to break that down, what all that means. All right? Because America's going to be completely destroyed by nuclear fire and the fire from the chariots. All right? Well, the scriptures say the fire on high shall bleed, shall consume the tabernacles of bribery. If I'm not mistaken, say that somewhere. All right? So the very fact that all Israel's going to be saved proves that there's no such thing as a place where you're going to go, you're going to burn for, like the elders apostles were saying, for 1 trillion years. No, that's not going to happen to nobody in existence. Where you're going to do something bad, and then you burn for 1 trillion years, and then 1 trillion more years, then 1 trillion, then you just burn. That's not even a just punishment. Because if you murder somebody, we're actually really immortal. Our spirits go to the Father, and the animal spirits stay on the earth. All right, and they get reincarnated. We can go on a reincarnation too. Matter of fact, we can go to that hand in hand. Hell, the hell doctrine and reincarnation. I think they go together anyway. So you got it. So get the corresponding scriptures to support the brother, but you can jump down. Well, you can finish reading that scripture and jump down where it says Lucifer.
No, it's a good point because there's going to be hell and reincarnation. Because at the end of the day, you know, what happens in the so-called afterlife? You know, what happens after these immortal bodies, you know, perish, and you know what happens in the spirit afterwards. You know, the Christian churches like to believe that there's this underworld or this hellfire that, you know, burns your soul, the spirit. For
Haiti, Tartarus. That's the Greek mythology. Heracles, they settled the laborers and all that. He had to cross the river. Well, that might have been another person. Hercules? Yeah, he had to cross the river Styx and all that. and it had to fight the the dog and shit. You know, you can watch the latest movies and old movies and figure or the old TV show, Hercules or Heracles is how you pronounce it actually. It's just a story. It's entertainment. Right?
It says Isaiah 14 and 1 continuing on, and the strangers shall be joined with them, and they shall cleave to the house of Jacob.
Yeah, the strangers in this respect is referring to the Israelites. All right, Gar. All right, sometimes you might even see the word that actually talk about a heathen, because depending on the author, the culture was to look at the Israelites that wasn't circumcised as actual heathens. They didn't have any part in the covenant. All right, that's how the circumcision looked at the Israelites that wasn't circumcised, like they had no part in the covenant. So they can use any word you want. You can use Gar, you can use a word for actual word heathen. That's how the Israelite circumcision looked at the uncircumcised Israelites. All right, that's another stronghold. Nakar, right? That's the word that, Nakar. Even if the word Nakar is there, all right, in Old Testament Hebrew or New Testament Hebrew, if it's talking about salvation is coming to them, that's referring to Israelites, all right? If the author wrote Nakar there, that's how the circumcision looked at the Israelites that wasn't circumcised, looked at them as heathens, pure heathens. They had no part in the covenant. Boy, Ephesians, the 2nd chapter breaks that down. The aliens being alienated, all right? They're all over the scriptures. Right?
God says, verse 2, and the people shall take them and bring them to their
this is a different thought, okay? This is where it changes over to, but it's within the same verse. That's another stronghold, where you make it think it's talking about the same thing. It's not talking about the same thing now. It's talking about the Edomites now, the other nations. What?
It says, and the people shall take them and bring them to their place, and the house of Israel shall possess them in the land of the Lord Yahweh for servants and handmaids. And they shall take them captives, whose captives they were, and they shall rule over their oppressors.
Right, so when you change something to another language, it loses some of the force. All right, so when the translators were translating this, they should have had commas there and everything, and semicolons to break the different thought, the change in thought. Like, kind of like when you're writing music and you modulate to a different key, but it's the same song, but the subject changes, you know? So the subject changed within the same verse. And through all throughout the scriptures, you have different examples of that, all right? Just because it's in the same verse don't mean it's the same exact thought, all right? It can be several thoughts within the same verse, all right? All right, you got it. Go break down Lucifer now, another relevant points that have to do with Satan.
Yeah, I'm going to read that in the NIV.
Oh, God, that's better?
Yeah, because it clarifies. This is Isaiah. I'm going to just jump to the point. Isaiah 14:2. I'm going to read it out of the NIV. It says, nations will take them and bring them to their own place. Now you might say, oh, wait a minute. That's a little different than what you just read, but it clarifies. It's going to tell you what nation is going to take who. It says, and Israel will take possession of the nations and make them male and female servants in the Lord's land. They will make captives of their captors and rule over their oppressors. So if there was any doubt, that sums it up right there quite nicely.
Again, further proof no such thing as hell. You're going to burn forever. All right? That's a stronghold. It's really easy to debunk. You just got to keep reading and get familiar with the scriptures. People that make these accusations, either they're intentionally lying or they lost the oil. All right? They're intentionally lying or they lost the oil. I'm sure other reasons too, but those are some main points. All right? When you keep reading about hell and reincarnation, you'll see there's no place you burn in hell forever and ever and never and never and never and never, and it never stops. Yep. That's not even a just punishment. The scriptures say if you kill somebody, then you get killed. Not you kill somebody and then you get killed like 1 billion times. That's not even just. 1 trillion times. Well, we can't even count because infinity is no end. So.
Yeah, and one in Job where it says, and then all spirits going to the heaven. Yep. Ecclesiastes 12.
No, that's this.
And then the
Job?
Job.
Ecclesiastes?
It's
Like
I think
this?
I'll go to one place talking about?
Yeah, I think it's that one.
You want it?
Yeah.
Con, this is the book of Ecclesiastes chapter 3, and this is verse 20. And it said, it goes in with the beasts and stuff too, but it says, I'm gonna start a bit above. This is verse 19, and it says, for that which befalleth the sons of men befalleth beasts, even one thing befalleth them, as one dieth, so dieth the other. Yeah, they have all one breath, so that a man hath no preeminence above a beast, for all is vanity. All go unto one place, all are of the dust, and all turn to the dust again.
Right, man, it's a spirit. The animals have spirits. All right. Now, the difference is you got the they're in the spirit world, but you have the humans, so to speak. They go up into the heavens, or they go to the heavens, not necessarily up, but they go to the heavens. All right. And
you have the third heaven is the spiritual realm, which is all around us. It's all around us. It's the spiritual realm.
our designation is our spirits are earthbound. Right. You know, you have other spirits that are not earthbound. They never take that corporeal form. All right, and animals, they just go back into their family line, into their same genus. All right. They don't have the same consciousness as like a so-called human has. So there's a different interaction with the angels and the spirits.
Because basically, they get whatever happens to them, and that's it. So when your spirit gets called up to Heavenly Father, you get your judgment arranged. So we go up and ascend before the throne.
Yeah, they just waiting until
exactly.
the next.
Yeah, whatever happens to a beast, that's it. We still gotta wait the impending judgment. Because remember, whatever the Lord puts on you, you're gonna perform it in that next life. That'll be you performing the judgment. But it has to get passed down. So every one of us has to go before the throne.
Yeah, the animals don't gotta be judged.
They're not. Yeah, exactly.
Their spirit just go to
exactly.
It waits or it goes right back into the other.
Exactly.
Body.
Yep. That's why when you read in Ecclesiastes 12, it clarifies what happens to you, whether you're an Israelite or an Edomite.
Yep. You know? You get where it says the spirit of man goes upward and then the animal goes.
Yeah, that's next verse.
Yeah, Con.
If I can add a point too real quick, is the scriptures say the Lord is known by the judgment in which he executed, and nowhere in the scriptures is there a judgment where he sends you down to this hell. Yeah, like, the scriptures talk about how, you know, when Israel go off, they get stoned with stones. And I believe there is a scripture in Job that goes.
No, that's the one, Father of all spirits. That's the one.
Yeah. But even Job knew that, like, listen, like, because like, you know, when they were tempting Job, like, he knew like not to go off, but not because of a hell, but because he knew that the Most High would punish him to death, to go to the grave. He's like, why would I do that? It wasn't like, you know, Job would have known that, like, oh, I don't want to do it because I want to go to hell. And no man in the spirit was afraid of some sort of hell, you know.
Right. Yeah, you didn't have the.
Even Shadrach, Meshach, and Abednego, when it was said to worship another god, they said, well, no, like, we're just gonna die. You know, they didn't glory in the fact that they were gonna go to, you know, to a heaven, or they weren't scared of the fact that they were gonna go to some sort of hell for doing it. They knew that the punishment would have been death, you know, or you know, whatever the case is, right? You know, that was pretty much the ultimate death for not following the statutes and commandments of the Lord. It was just death, you know.
You had the wicked Judite kings and Ephraimite kings. They were killing the prophets. They weren't afraid of like going to hell.
Yep. Yeah. Exactly. Yep.
You know.
When did they ever say, at least I burn in hell for eternity?
Yeah.
Wicked Ahab wasn't afraid about. Oh, if I kill these prophets, I'm gonna go to hell.
Yeah. It was more. Yeah. At least the Lord sent my enemies upon me and take me out, or something like that. Yeah. That was the fear. The fear was, you know, being put down in his fleshy body.
So y'all kind of already said it's not even Esau going to burn forever.
No.
No spirit, no body, no spirit is going to be burning for eternity.
Yeah, and the thing is, you know, you got IUIC teaching, you know, out here, basically saying, oh, you know, basically telling 2/3 that if they don't repent, then, you know, they're going to be cast into hell.
Yeah. So brother, where are we from? Like, there is a place that's separate from the other hell that he's going to carve out, or something like that. That's going to be going to burn. I mean, I learned that too when I first learned about Israel, about hell and shit. But man, that didn't put fear in me. But that just wasn't the truth. Because the elders never taught us about burning hell.
Well, hey, listen, we're gonna have spiritual powers. You know, like I said, when Nebuchadnezzar we're gonna throw the men in the fire. He made the furnace so hot. You know, maybe shit, Lord willing, I'll fucking use that as a curse to my enemies. You know, Esau's slavery, just put him in a fucking furnace and put that shit on high heat. Kill him 3 times over.
And then it's funny because these jakes were saying that, hey, you know, we're gonna have slaves in the kingdom. The heathen are you're telling me the heathen are gonna be above, you know, the 2/3 because the 2/3 are gonna be burned in hell, you know, for all eternity.
Heathen gonna be slavery, but Israelites that are bad will be burning in hell. That's fucking crazy.
Yep. And all of that is on earth too. It's got to be noted that like when Israel is in its power seat, it's not up in the heavens. It's on earth. The kingdom of heaven is on earth.
Yeah, and then it says in Romans 11 how all of Israel will be saved. So
Matter of fact, they ripped that. Go back to the Lucifer.
Go on.
Go back to 14.
Sorry,
You
Zed.
read the scripture?
Yeah.
Read that down about the spirits.
Yep. Fine.
Oh, you got it.
It's the book of Ecclesiastes, chapter 3, and this is verse 21. It says, "Who knoweth the spirit of man that goeth upward, and the spirit of the beast that goeth downward to the earth?"
Yep. So that's clear cut. The beasts of the earth go, you know, back into the soil, right? And then what? The man's spirit goes back into the heavens. You know, that's how it's always been.
Isaiah 14. The Lord is known as Lucifer also. And give me the scripture where it says that the Lord Jesus went to hell. I just think that was like a blasphemous statement. Because I was being taught by a Seventh-day Adventist woman for a little while. And she was saying how the Jehovah's Witness say Jesus went to hell. And she didn't like that. You know, Jesus went to hell. The Lord says in Psalms that Jesus went to hell. Or David, to not suffer my soul to dwell in hell. You know, so I mean, the thing is, people don't know the meaning of words. That's the only confusion. If you knew the meaning of words, you wouldn't be saying, "Oh, Jesus went to hell," or "David went to hell." However the scriptures go, and then think that's a blasphemous statement or an error because these women don't. I mean, they don't know the scriptures anyway. So go ahead, break that down. Break both of them down. Lucifer and suffer my soul to be in hell.
I just wanted to bring out a quick recent. The brother made a statement about us. Basically, the kingdom's going to be on earth, right? And so will the punishment that Esau gotta take part in, right? I just wanted to bring that out real quick. This is Revelation chapter 5 and verse 9. It says, "And they sung a new song, saying, Thou art worthy to take the book and to open the seals thereof, for thou wast slain and hast redeemed us to the Most High by the blood out of every kindred and tongue and people and nation," right? All Israel, brought back to the Heavenly Father through the sacrifice of our Lord Yahushua, "and has made us unto our power kings and priests, and we shall reign on the earth." So we gonna reign on the earth. Okay? All the Israelites. And he's gonna have an order, right? You're gonna have an order, right? You're gonna have Yahushua, right? You're gonna have the 12, all right? Which you're gonna have King David, which he's a part of the 12. Okay? Then you're gonna have the rest of the government body, the rest of the 144,000 elect men who served Yahweh Bashim Yahushua. Okay? Because remember, the rest of the nation's gonna come back through the loins of the 144,000. All right, and the other multitude. All right. Yep. The 2/3 are gonna come through the loins of the elect, beginning with the 144,000. So, but there's gonna be ranking in the kingdom. But the point there was we're gonna reign on earth, right? We'll reign on earth, and you can extrapolate from that those that are going to serve the punishment is going to be where? On earth. Okay? When it says that we're going to bind their kings and their nobles with fetters of iron, all right, and execute that judgment with a two-edged sword, they're going to play that judgment on earth.
Quick.
You know, I'm just building on the point. Go ahead.
God, yeah. Like I said, these are scriptures that give them understanding about the subject that hell, like I said.
Right. Rulership.
Yeah.
Rulership extends on to punishment. But who gonna get punished? Right. What's gonna be the condition of the punishment? Because hell could either be a condition, all right, or it could be the grave. All right. A condition played on earth,
Yep.
or the grave.
Yep.
Which once you in the grave, that's it. You in the spiritual world. And the brother already read that in Ecclesiastes, the 12th chapter.
Oh, no, we didn't get it.
Oh, you didn't get it that?
No,
Okay, well,
we didn't get it.
a little ahead of myself. Slacky.
Yep.
Go ahead.
This is the book of Ecclesiastes chapter 3 and 16. And moreover, I saw under the Shamash, or the sun, the place of judgment,
There you go.
that wickedness was there, and the place of righteousness, that iniquity was there.
There you go, man. That's pretty much self-explanatory. Read it again. Under the
Gone.
heavens. Okay?
Yep. Ecclesiastes chapter 3 and verse 16, it says, and moreover, I saw under the sun the place of judgment, that wickedness was there. And
Well, what's under the sun? What's under the sun?
the earth.
The earth. Right? Now I said the heavens because technically the sky, the firmament, all right, what they call
Ozone layer.
the ozone layer or the stratosphere, that's one heaven. I mentioned the three heavens.
Time.
That's the first heaven. The second heaven is outer space. Third heaven is the spiritual realm. Okay, the fourth dimension. But go ahead. Under the sun.
Yep. It says the place of judgment.
The place of judgment. Right now, that's the judgment being played out on earth. Okay. And the condition of judgment is hell. Right? When you're being tormented, when you're being oppressed, all right? The condition is hell. Go ahead.
that wickedness was there, in the place of righteousness, that iniquity was there.
Right. That's why you get that saying, the white man's heaven is the black man's hell. Good.
God.
Well, that's going to be reversed. Trade in places, if you will. You finished that up on that, brother?
Yeah.
Okay, come.
Yeah, this is the book of Baruch, chapter 2, verse 34. And it says, and I will bring them again into the land which I promised with an oath unto their fathers, Abraham, Isaac, and Jacob, and they shall be lords of it, and I will increase them, and they shall not be diminished. Yeah, so, just...
Promise, yeah.
Yeah, Lord, hey, the Lord promised that we was going to get Israel, all right? The Lord promised that, and what else? All right, we're going to have servants, all right? We're going to have slaves, who's going to be the heathens, all right? The heathen nations, all right? In verse 35, it says, and I will make an everlasting covenant with them to be their power, and they shall be my people, and I will no more drive my people of Israel out of the land that I have given them. So it's going to be forever, man. You know, we're going to be in rulership, you know, forever, all right? You know, the heathen's going to be under us forever. All right, so that just shows you that, just to, prove the brother's point, another scripture, all right? There's plenty of scriptures that prove that, that our kingdom is going to be on the planet Earth, all right?
Yeah, scripture say that if you add to the book or take away, you're going to share your part in the lake of fire, which is America being destroyed. You're going to burn up here, but not forever. Right. You're going to burn, but not forever. Right?
Yeah, so even though, the Lord's going to judge the 2/3, ultimately the Lord's still going to save them, by coming back to the seat of the elect within the kingdom. If the Lord didn't complete his word on that, then, he would be a betrayer, of his own self. And of the 2/3, the rest of Israel, he'll be a liar in that case.
The Lord said he put his word above his name, right?
Yeah, he said, I'm bound by my word, right?
Yep.
So you got that Romans 11, right?
I have Isaiah 14 still.
Get the Romans 11. What verse you want it?
I think it's 25.
Romans 11, verse 26. And so all Israel shall be saved, as it is written, there shall come out of Zion the deliverer, and shall turn away ungodliness from Jacob.
Let's go to 25 and read down to 26.
Romans 11, verse 25. For I would not, brethren, that ye should be ignorant of this mystery, lest ye should be wise in your own conceits. That blindness is happened to Israel until the fullness of the Gentiles be come in. Verse 26. And so all Israel shall be saved, as it is written, there shall come out of Zion the deliverer, and shall turn away ungodliness from Jacob.
Yeah, so eventually all of Israel will be saved. You know, just like it said right there. So that's prophecy at the end of the day. You know, Lord's gonna make sure he completes his word on that. You know, so for these guys saying, oh, you know, the 2/3 gonna go into hell. If you don't repent, you're going to hell to burn for eternity. Really, man, you're adding on to the word. You know, you're taking away from the word, because the scriptures right there say that eventually all of Israel will be saved. You know, like I said right there, Yahweh shall turn away all ungodliness. You know, so man, make us perfect. Read what is it? Jeremiah 30, 31, or is it 30 and 30? 31.
I got a quick precept.
Yeah, the new covenant. You know, basically the Lord said that he will put a heart of flesh in us instead of a heart of stone, which represents us having, you know, a perfect mind with the Lord.
Because, you know, you think of a stone can't be penetrated, right? It's hard. But like the elder Tazadakba goes into about how the mind, after long, the mind becomes calcified. So information can't pass through to the brain. That has happened to a lot of Israelites from the bad diets, drugs, right? The minds become calcified. Well, in the kingdom, there's not going to be such a thing, because we're going to actually put on perfection. We're going to actually inherit bodies that are incapable of going off. Right now, the flesh is subject to sin. Okay? The flesh and the spirit are in opposition with one another. It's a daily battle that we must fight. So in this condition, we have to fight against ourselves, right? We're imperfect vessels. Okay? But in the kingdom, that's going to be taken away, because we're going to be given a body that's incapable of going off. Hence, this corruption shall put on incorruption. All right? We're going to be incorruptible. And that's all Israel. All Israel. All Israel. Right now, we have an advocate with the Father, which is where our righteousness is coming from, that gives us that coverage that we need. Okay? Because we still sin. We still go off. All right? So we've been given the standard to strive through Yahweh Shai, and he acts as our covering, our propitiation, so that the Father won't destroy us. Right? But that comes with a standard. That comes with boundaries. All right? And an expectation, which all Israel isn't under that right now. Okay? They're still in a Gentile state of mind, like the brother read in the 25th verse. It happened back then, it happens now. You got Jakes that are willingly ignorant, and then, you know, really, at this point, they're just willingly ignorant. Like, Israel don't have an excuse. They're just choosing the ways of the enemy. They want to be an American Negro, all right? They want to be African American. They want to be black, okay? They want to be all these different things. That's why 2/3 of them are going to have to be destroyed in what the brother said a quarter earlier, in that lake of fire, all right? A lot of you Israelites are going to be taken in that lake of fire, but that's, once the indignation of the Lord is passed, right, then you're going to come back, all right, in your proper generation through the loins of the elect. So therefore, the scripture concluded and said, but all Israel shall be saved. All right? That out of Zion was going to be the deliverer, which is Yahweh Shai. So Yahweh Shai is going to ultimately deliver his elect on this side, but collectively deliver all of the nation of Israel, okay, once it's all said and done. Okay? And brothers read Isaiah 14, that the Lord was going to yet choose Israel and have mercy, okay, upon Jacob. What do you got?
Isaiah 14.
Okay.
It says Isaiah 14:7. It said the whole earth is at rest and quiet. Or, you know, we're skipping down now, but it says the whole earth is at rest and it's quiet. They break forth into singing. Yeah, because once this devil And once this devil's cast out of his rulership, you know, the beast is cast out of his rulership, and you know, basically the Lord sets up Israel to rule over the whole earth. Hey, the whole earth is gonna be at rest. You know, the whole earth is gonna go back into the righteous state that it once was. It says, verse 8, yeah,
So
the first.
it's gonna be better than the first.
Yeah. Oh yeah, even gonna be better.
Because the earth is gonna get that rejuvenation, that much needed rejuvenation, and it's gonna be like the ancient world, but better. Okay, it's gonna be better, and it's gonna be eternal. So, you know, that's our hope, because we're not ever gonna go off, right? Lord ain't gonna take the kingdom from us, right? It's gonna be beautiful, man. Words cannot describe the perfection that's gonna come upon the earth, you know, because we have to experience it. You know, it's one of those things where you can understand it in part, but you have to really experience it to get the fullness of it. You know, but the Lord gave us those little nuggets of hope. You know, when you read scriptures like that, man, to get us moving forward, keep us moving forward. Go ahead.
Proverbs 29, verse 2. When the righteous are in authority, the people rejoice. But when the wicked beareth rule, the people mourn.
Yep. So there you have it. Once the Israelites are going to be in rulership, the whole earth is going to be at rest. You know, all the other nations will even be rejoicing, man. Even though they're going to be receiving hard bondage, you know, under us, hey, they're still going to be rejoicing, man, because it's way better, you know, than this wicked place that we're currently in.
Done.
You know, because think about it.
Except for Esau.
Oh yeah, except for Esau. Because yeah, think about it, man. You know, we're gonna have clean water, clean air. We're gonna have clean food. You know, it's gonna be a balance still. You know, you're gonna have this Sabbath. You know, have a full day of rest. You know, in this captivity, man, you can't get one break. You know. So it says, verse 8 in Isaiah 14. It says, yeah, the fir trees rejoice at thee, and the cedars of Lebanon, saying. The cedars of Lebanon saying, since thou art laid down, no feather is come up against us. Yeah, because, you know, Esau, what does he do? You know, mass deforestation. You know, he basically clears out all the trees, puts up, you know, concrete and buildings in its place. You know, and what Esau cuts down a whole bunch of trees, man, to generate, you know, like paper and, you know, basically, cardboard and all these materials, you know, that come from trees.
Yeah, it's trees you can cut down that actually grow, like bamboo. That grows like a lot faster. You can make all the same products out of that. They can just find an actual source. But Esau's, he's a devil. So once he has something, he just want to keep doing it and exploiting it instead of just finding something alternatively that's even better and more and cheaper, and it does the same thing as sustainable. That's what we're looking for, and still make the same amount of money. But Esau's, you know, he's a fucking devil.
Yeah, because you got like bamboo, paper towels and stuff. So Esau can easily take advantage, because this devil likes to push that green, you know,
agenda.
Yeah, you know, the green agenda, you know, turning everything better for the environment. You know, we got Apple stop selling, you know, chargers within their, you know, phones. You know, they're starting to take away the charge adapters, you know, that plug into the wall, because they want to save money for the environment, or, you know, help the environment.
That's just a lie, though.
Yeah, that's such a lie.
Because remember, all of the technology they use to create alternative energy is still polluting. So.
Yeah, got all these power plants.
Yeah, and
like that.
hey, yeah, you know, at the end of the day, if Esau wanted to,
Those individuals that got a mine like the cobalt and all that, they doing that by hand, bro. They're doing that all by hand.
yeah,
Thousands and hundreds of them in one mine. You know? So people are still being exploited for those resources to make these so-called, you know, different improvements in technology and all that. People are still being exploited. Slave labor is still being used. Okay, nations are still being abused.
yeah, because think about it. When you make a Tesla battery, you know, the common person will think that's better for the environment. You know, it uses electricity, doesn't use gas and natural, you know, fuels or whatever. But funny thing is, when you go into the process of making a Tesla battery, you know, it basically pollutes, you know, a whole bunch of water. You You know, and also they got used a lot of water, you know, to make the batteries.
Yep.
I believe it was like a couple hundred tons, like just to make a few, something like that.
Yeah, them lithium batteries.
But basically, it takes like a lot of water just to make one lithium battery, man.
Yeah.
Tesla battery. You know, and not to mention how much pollution, you know, in runoff, you know, causes onto the land.
Earth, air.
You know, you got these landfills, these, you know, they got to keep on making new ones because, you know, one might get full, whatever.
Yeah. And they gotta actually extract all them different minerals to make that battery, lithium and all of that. And they said that that's they don't have, you know, they can't do that. You know, so it's like a kind of like a impossible, like you said, what Esau wanted in New World Order is impossible to be accomplished because the Lord set a bound for him.
Yeah, and
you know.
Yeah, really, man. If this, because what Esau likes to push, you know, we need to stop, you know, global warming. We need to lower the CO2 levels. Yeah. Hey, if you're so interested in doing that, you completely change this whole society. You know, you completely take down, you know, the factories. You know, hey, you will turn this place back into a traditional way of living.
Right. I'm laughing because
plants breathe CO2, right?
Yeah, and that's a funny thing too. The plants need CO2, so you know, really, if we had no CO2, then that would be bad. You know.
Yeah. Trees, you said that no fellas come down and cut us down and all that.
Yeah.
Yeah. Also, they got to make it seem like these resources are scarce, or completely use them up, so that way they can push that overpopulation agenda and all that. You know.
Yep. So all got to do with each other.
Yep. So they take resources like trees and wood that, you know, you use for a lot of applications, and then, you know, when it's so scarce, well, it means what they did, they make it seem like, okay, well, now it spikes the price of wood. You can't do things that you normally would do with wood because it's too damn expensive. Yeah, lumber's at an all-time high, so, you know. So, but then they can blame it all on freaking, you know, overpopulation.
Yep.
But they already went into the, basically, it's not about the resources being scarce, it's about the fact that they control the amount of resources gets produced and who gets the resources. And that's the actual problem, not overpopulation. You want to say something?
Quick reset.
No, go ahead, brothers. Go ahead.
Quick reset. This the book of Ecclesiastes chapter 5 and verse 9. And it says, moreover, the profit of the earth is for all. The king himself is served by the field.
Slide. Can you read again?
This is the book of Ecclesiastes chapter 5 and 9. Moreover, the profit of the earth is for all. The king himself is served by the field.
Yeah, so, what do you say, profit?
Yeah.
Served by the field. The mineral resources of the earth is the thing that makes people rich. You know, taking things out of the earth. You know? So it's going to be here. It's not, well, Esau's limit is to a certain point, and then he's going to be destroyed, and the earth's going to be renewed. All right?
Well, now all the riches he does have is going to be translated onto us anyway.
Right. All the gold is out of America anyway. It's in Europe and Africa and China.
So, hey, anyways, man, you know, like the scriptures say, the world is created for Israel's sake. You know, so everything you see, man, on the planet Earth is created for Israel. You know, the gold, the silver, you know, everything, man, the beasts, the trees, stones. Everything, man, is ultimately created for the nation of Israel, for the nation of Israel to inherit. You know. Yeah. So, hey, you know, at the end of the day, Esau, you know, racking up all this gold. Hey, really, man, he's making it easier for us, you know, because we can easily extract it from, you know, his vaults. He already did out of the mining, but he's gonna have to do more anyways in the kingdom.
Oh yeah. Yeah, because he see where these things are in scarcity, in the kingdom they're gonna be in abundance.
Yeah.
How do you think they're gonna build our kingdom up? And the Lord gonna perfect our minds, so we're gonna get very creative with our mansions and how we want things.
Yeah.
Building our cities, and we're gonna use those resources the way the Lord intended. All the precious gems and stones and minerals of the earth, the things that we haven't even seen. I don't know about y'all brothers, but you know, you might get a little stone book, because you know, brothers, you know, in the stones, and you see all the different crystals and geodes, right? And jaspers, and you see all those, but that's just scratching the surface when it comes to the things that the Lord has out there. And the force of those things are going to be magnified in the kingdom. Because really all those things carry an energy, carry a vibration, you know? And they all work collectively. Like everything works in tandem, man. You know? But under this man's dominion, things have been thrown out of course. You know? That's why the air you breathe can actually hurt you. It could put a toll on your lungs. You know? You think about things like that. So, you know, the trees giving off the oxygen, the quality of the air, right? You have something called air quality. You know? If the air quality is good, you can get what would you call it? Residual effects. Help the body, right? Help the mind, right? But if the air is polluted, then what happens? Your cognitive function is weak. You're breathing heavier, you know, you feel winded. You know, you end up getting, problems. Then your diet's bad. You know, not because you're not making the effort to eat better, but because the places where these things are being sourced has been perverted, has been corrupted, has been tampered with. I digress.
Yeah, and then when you go into it, like out into the brother's point,
right? So so when it says no fellow shall come up against us, yeah, the earth itself is going to be at rest, but so are these other nations, okay? Because everything is going to be in its proper order. That's why before that, the brother read Proverbs 29 about the people rejoicing, because they're not going to have to worry about whether or not their water supply has been tainted or poisoned. They're not going to have to worry about that. Yeah, they're going to be tributaries, of course. Are they going to get judged according to the law when they go off? Yes. Okay? They're going to have that burden of being in captivity? Absolutely. But the quality of life is going to improve for everybody under our rulership.
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah, and then, what was I about to say? Yeah, basically when you go into it, you know, Esau discovering new elements, there's still new elements that are being discovered. So you can only imagine how much, more new elements we're gonna see within the kingdom.
Shoot, I'll go to say that they don't even know everything about the elements that they have discovered. Like the possibilities of the elements that are already on the periodic table. They only know some of the combos that the Lord gave them anyways for their particular time of rulership.
Yeah, they say the earth going to roll to and fro like a drunkard, so it's going to be places in the world where the oceans are, it's going to come up, it's going to be new lands discovered.
Well, I believe that Elder Apostle said that what's going to actually happen, the earth is going to actually expand. The earth is going to actually expand. Right? And it has to, it's going to have to. In order to contain all the peoples, of course there's going to be other, mansions or planets that we're going to be able to inhabit, but yeah, everything's going to have to expand. Because we're going to regain our stature too. That's another reason why things have to expand. Because we're going to regain our stature back too. Ain't going to be no brothers 5'4", 7, or 8, or even 6 foot. Y'all brother happy. Y'all be happy because y'all 6 foot. Ain't gonna be no 6 foot brothers in the kingdom.
Nah, you about to be 10 feet.
Yeah.
20 feet.
Yeah. We gonna see how the Lord max our stature in the kingdom, but yeah, there ain't gonna be no such thing as no short brother in the kingdom.
Bigger than the Canaanites were.
Yeah. Oh yeah. That's a good point.
Ain't gonna be no vertically challenged Israelite.
Yeah, because that's a good point. You got the what's the tribe of the tallest people?
You talking about?
It starts with a T, right? Like in Sudan or something?
Yeah, Sudanese. They are Tutsi. What are you talking about?
Tanzania?
No, you talking about the Sudanese.
Let me look it up.
Usually,
Sons of Anak, those are the famous Canaanites, I believe.
college. Oh yeah, it's the Dinka people. Basically, they got 7 footers. So we're gonna have to be superior than that.
Yeah.
So obviously, basically it's got to be every single Israelite gonna be taller than 7 feet, man.
Yeah.
Because at the end of the day we're gonna be above all the other nations. So we gotta be above all the other nations in stature and size as well.
It's gonna be like Avatar.
Yeah.
Avatar.
Yeah. You got there 9 to 10 feet. If you put up fucking Shaquille O'Neal next to Avatar, he's gonna look little, man.
Yeah.
And even though
the avatars, you know, they got, they might have, you know, skinny body. They still look huge compared to Shaquille O'Neal. They got bigger frame, you know.
Yeah, like these. Yeah, like you seen in the movie, like you seen these dudes, they was grabbing the humans and tossing them like they was some dolls or something like that, man. It was easy,
Right.
like some rag dolls.
Hey, that's the thing. The Lord gonna give us that. Basically, what you call natural root strength, just because of our stature change. And on top of it, spiritual power.
You be seeing, you know, like, for example, brothers who be watching, you know, Dragon Ball Z. You know, hey, basically they be going like this, and then they be going like flying all the way, you know, around the whole world. So, hey.
Yeah, man, that's real. That's real.
We're gonna be tall. And the Lord gonna be taller than us.
Yeah.
So the young man saw the young man taller than all the rest. The Lord gonna be taller than us. So imagine how tall he gonna be.
Yeah, and then easily within the kingdom, you know, we're gonna be able to, you know, shrink or, you know, expand. Because think about it. You know, if we're dealing with a concubine, we can't be in our full stature. You know, we can't be in our full state. We're gonna have to, you know, power down a little bit. You know.
90%.
Quick reset.
What's that? Shoot, what was that?
What Ant-Man?
Uh,
Ant-Man can do that. But there's another-
What was his name? Dr. Manhattan. He had that ability, right? To change it, to like morph and change himself.
Change the atoms around and all
Yeah.
that.
That was the superhero movie, The Watchmen. The Watchmen.
There's a Marvel character too that has he can turn his. I forget his name.
Ant-Man,
Huh?
right? Ant-Man.
No, there's another one. There's another one. He can,
Oh, you mean DC?
it might be DC.
Adam Smasher?
Yeah, Adam Smasher.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's DC. Adam Smasher.
Black Adam.
See, the Hawk somewhat like that too, though.
Oh yeah, the
Get
whole.
angry, get big.
that's
then-
Yeah. The angrier he gets, the
Yeah.
more he expands. So what? We can go back to Isaiah 14:9. It says, "Hell from beneath is moved for thee, to meet thee at thy coming."
That's the first description right there. So hell is going to meet. How is hell going to meet? We can break it down.
Yeah. So when you go into the word hell, first and foremost, it means the Hebrew word sha'wal, which means grave or pit. So basically, the things that bring forth, you know, death is gonna come onto this devil, man. Not literal hell. It's gonna be open, you know. Ain't no such thing as a spiritual hell, man. So what it says, Isaiah 14:9, hell from beneath is moved for thee to meet thee at thy coming, and stirreth up the dead for thee.
Right, the dead is the other nations. Good.
Con. It says even all the chief ones of the earth.
The chief ones of the earth. The chief ones of the earth.
Leaders, the kings,
Yep.
princes of the earth.
Yeah, exactly.
They're dead. Because the scriptures tell you that the nations are like a drop in the bucket. They're nothing relative to the Israelites. So it's like they're dead. You know, they're not actually physically dead like zombies and shit. Right? They came back from hell. You know, and they got pale skin and they look crazy and shit. No, we're talking about it's a figurative statement.
Exactly.
About the moral character.
Yeah, well, the scriptures tell you that he that wandereth out of the way of understanding remaineth in the congregation of men.
I got a precept.
Go ahead.
It's Ruth chapter 4 and 5. It says, then said Boaz, what day thou buyest the field of the hand of Naomi, thou must buy it also of Ruth the Moabitess, the wife of the dead,
Damn.
to raise up the name of the dead upon his inheritance. You know, Ruth is what? Moabite.
Mobile,
Yeah,
right.
heathen.
Yep.
All right?
Go.
Yeah.
Go. Yep. That is
One precept.
That's it. That's good. That's good. Yep.
Quick reset. Jonah 2 verse 1. Then Jonah prayed unto the Lord his power out of the fish's belly and said, I cried by reason of mine affliction unto the Lord, and he heard me out of the belly of hell, cried I, and thou heardest my voice.
Yeah. So when you go into it, that scripture right there proves to you that hell is just a condition. You know, when brothers say I'm catching a hell, you know, that means that they're going through it. They're going through.
That doesn't mean that they went and they visit Satan down in the underworld and spent some time. You know.
Yeah.
Movie called Catching Hell.
Yeah.
Ryan Phillips. He plays it. He basically thinks those are down. He might pick the movies up.
Like,
People are fucking him up. You know, he's basically catching hell. He's getting tortured and chased and shit like that.
yeah, they went. what's that movie? Little Nicky. We went go and spent some time down there. Because I know the brothers, especially Elder Apostle Tahar, be referencing that movie. You got Adam Sandler in there. What's the comedian? What's that comedian's name? Oh man, he's supposed to. He plays. He plays the grandfather, the ex king of hell, Rodney Dangerfield. Rodney Dangerfield. But then there was another actor, I can't remember his name, that was sitting on the throne.
Yeah. Con.
Read that again. Isaiah 14.
Isaiah 14:9. It says, hell from beneath is moved for thee to meet thee at thy coming. And then real quick, I have the word for hell in the etymology. It says, used in the KJV for Old Testament Hebrew Shawwal and New Testament Greek Hades or Gehenna. It says used figuratively for state of misery, any bad experience. So yeah, that's clear cut right there, man. You know.
Any bad experience.
So even the scholars know what the true meaning of these words mean. So how much more, these jakes who claim, they know the truth, they worship the Lord, but they don't understand basic scriptures, like these, or basic words,
These brothers are new, and they immediately know this stuff, They've been in faith a couple years, 3-4 years, and they can easily get it.
Right.
So there's no excuse for a guy that's been in this thing for 25, 35 years. They look up the meaning of the word.
Yeah,
right.
Starting
to
to
show
context.
that
Words, different word could have been used in English. That's the word they chose to use because the word actually does mean the grave. It doesn't mean a place you burn up forever and ever and ever.
First precept. Romans 11, verse 7. What then? Israel have not obtained that which he seeketh for, but the election have obtained it, and the rest were blinded.
Yeah, so at the end of the day, if you ain't teaching the right things, you ain't of the elect.
Yeah. And then even Elder Apostle Gabar, he said he called the leader IUIC, he called them a KG dude, and I basically looked at the meaning of KG. It basically means someone who knows something. They obviously know something, but they just choose not to say it. They choose to hide back words.
It's like an Edomite. That's what
Yeah.
Edomite so-called
Yeah.
They know stuff. They lie and shit. They don't say nothing.
Revelations chapter 20 verse 15. And whosoever was not found written in the book of life was cast in the lake of fire. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, and then when you go into that, when you actually understand the lake of fire, when you read precepts like Jeremiah 51, you read precepts that speak about the arrows, the other nations making an alliance, and coming up against America. Sending arrows. When you go into that, the arrow, the modern day arrow is a nuclear missile. So there's going to be a huge fire within the nation of America.
Right.
And that right there is the lake of fire.
And here's the thing. In Luke 12 and 49, the Lord said that he was going to come to bring fire. So is the Lord coming to bring the hell? Because I thought that hell was synonymous with Satan. So who bringing the hell?
Good point right there. But then they'll mitigate the scripture where it says the Lord has the keys to hell and death.
Right.
They won't dare to admit that.
Because what the Lord is coming to bring is fire, but the fire he's coming with is the pure fire from the chariots, but simultaneously, as that's happening, these other nations are going to shoot their arrows, okay, or their ICBM, intercontinental ballistic missiles, all right, their hypersonic missiles, and burn this place with fire. That's what's going to be, as brother said, the lake of fire. Now, if you ever got an aerial view of any region, okay, I like how Elder Apostle Tahar started nicknaming this place the lake. If you actually look at an actual lake, right, but you get an aerial view of any region, that's what it looks like. It looks like an empty lake. So what's going to happen is the Lord going to fill that lake with fire. The Lord going to fill that region with fire. If you ever got the opportunity to get an aerial view, remember, we're going to have an aerial view. So we're going to look down, and it's just going to be engulfed in flames. Okay?
And it's going to dig into the earth.
It's going to dig into the earth.
Yeah.
That's how
It's gonna be like a valley.
Right. Because I think when you look at, get the definition for the word lake.
I already got it.
Okay, good.
It says lake in the etymology. It says body, or body of water surrounded by land and filling.
Right, because it's using the word lake figuratively. But also, it's going to create, okay, a space for that fire, because it's going to consume all. What does the scripture say in 2 Peter, the 3rd chapter? All the elements was going to be exactly with fervent heat, that intense heat.
Some of these elements are deeply into the ground, man. Deeply into the course, the surface of the earth, man. So it's gotta go deep into.
What do you think the missiles are going to do?
Yeah, I mean, think about it.
Open the earth. It's going, like the brother quoted earlier, rock to and fro.
Yeah.
Oil, gas, minerals, coal, all going to burn.
Right.
Yeah, think about it. You know, the dirt's gonna clear. Shoot up once the missiles come down. You know, within that fireball radius, there's gonna be a lot of fireball radiuses. You know, because a lot of missiles be shot on America.
I'll never forget when I first came into the truth. Me and my old demon that I was with at the time, she took me up this trail and we went up the hill and we looked down at the town, and it looked like I could literally envision a lake of fire. Like I could see it. Like I already saw it because I understood it in my spirit. But when I got up there and I looked down at the town, I'm like, oh yeah. The way the town was set, you had the hills surrounding it, all you could picture was when the Lord brings that fire, it's going to engulf it in flames. It's going to be a lake of fire. Literally.
Aerial view you talking about.
Yeah.
They got a series called The Ark, where the astronauts are on an observation deck in a satellite or a spacecraft in the air, and they showing America burning.
Oh yeah, get that on.
Oh, you mean for the opening intro time?
Yeah, exactly. So they looking at America from an observation deck and seeing it on fire.
They left Earth. It's all sci-fi movies. Earth is getting destroyed, or the resources lacking. Or it's a war. They escaping a war, so that was a ship, kind of like Noah's Ark, so to speak.
Yeah,
they left the Earth to find the proximity, I believe, of the planet.
And from an aerial view, you can see land, you can see a normal lake, and then you see this pit of fire. What's the best way to describe it other than a lake of fire? It looks like a body of water, but it's made of fire. I would describe it as a lake of fire too, just like when Zechariah described the UFO, or when the UFO was described as like scrolls, right?
Rolled up.
Yeah, rolled up. Yeah.
Scroll.
But it's more. It says lake. It says a body of water surrounded by land and filling a depression or a basin, and then it says directly from Latin pond, pool, lake, also basin, tank, reservoir. Then it says related to lacuna, hole, pit.
Tank, reservoir, hole, pit.
That's what this place going to turn into.
Oh look, and then going down, it says in the Middle English lake as a descendant of old word, or of the Old English word, also can mean stream, river, gully, ditch, marsh, grave, pit of hell.
Damn.
What is IUIC, Bishop Nathaniel talking about? It's going to be another place where the Lord going to separate something like that, where it's going to burn forever.
Right. And
it's wicked. It's not in the scriptures.
That's right. And remember, the brother read for the word hell, you had there Gehenna, all right? Because that was located where? In the valley of Hinnom. And what did they do? What did they do? There you go. They would take dead bodies, animals, okay, waste, and it would go into that pit and they would set it on fire. All right? They would burn it with fire. So this pit, okay, or this area is going to be totally engulfed in flames. And all the elements is going to burn with that fervent heat. Peoples, okay? And whatever's left here is going to be totally burnt up, because the scriptures say that this place is going to turn into a desert where doleful creatures will dwell. Okay, over time, of course, but you get the picture, you get the illustration. Not going to be nothing left, because you're not going to be able to tell from one point to the next, because it's destined that this place will be totally burned with fire, unlike the rest of the world. Because the Lord is going to use, his spirit going to be in the missiles anyways, but they're going to be shot with precision. They're going to go exactly where the Lord wants them to go. All right, you could read about that, and I think that's, what is it, 2nd Ezra, is it 13? Where it says, as a mighty archer, they shall not return back.
16?
Is it 16?
I think it's the beginning 16. Right?
Okay. Yeah, 13 is the mountain, and the Lord comes and burns up the men underneath him. But
yeah. But continuing on, Isaiah 14:9, it says, hell from beneath is moved for thee to meet thee at thy coming. It's speaking about Esau. It says, it stirs up the dead for thee, even all the sheep.
That's the point I wanted to make. It said the dead, but then it used the word even. Now, when you break down that word even, it means the same. That's another way you can understand that the dead is also referring to the chief ones, that just referring to them two different ways. But they gonna end up dead anyway. In that nuclear exchange.
Ashes, like ashes.
Yeah. Slucky, go ahead. I just wanted to make that point. When you're reading that and you see that word even, it means the same. So that's how you know that you're not, in this case, they're not separate.
And we look up in the Hebrew, it'll give you more direct.
Right.
In English, you got the English words in your hand and
Right.
and all that stuff. It's not necessarily always
Yeah. Right here, the word for even is italicized. So
yeah, well, so it's not even there.
yeah,
That's just for English comprehension.
yeah.
Yeah, just hold it.
It says, it stirreth up the death for thee, even all the chief ones of the earth, that has raised up from their thrones all the kings of the nations. And then it says, verse 10, all they shall speak and say unto thee, art thou also become weak as we? Art thou become like unto us? Yeah, because what, Esau is going to be in his completely destroyed, destitute. You know, and this man was once known as, you know, that great God. You know, that, what? You know, when a lot of people make, you know, their cartoons or whatever, you know, they always have, you know, the
White Edomite.
yeah, the white Edomite on top. You know, for example, again, you know, Dragon Ball. Whenever the Saiyans go Super Saiyan, you know, their hair turns blonde. They got blue eyes.
Yeah, they draw the more Amy used to draw the characters on Edomites.
Yeah.
They draw more Japanese now, but
Like
they still draw
Naruto.
Edomites too.
Yeah.
With a headband on.
There's money for Annie worship.
Yeah, so
You see them running around.
there's going to be a point in time, especially within the kingdom, Esau's going to be the lowest. It says he's the basest man on earth. You know, so and once we're in the kingdom of heaven, man, the other nations going to be looking at this devil, because, you know, he was once that great man, you know, with all these riches, he had power over the whole earth. Now he's literally the lowest people on the planet Earth. That's going to come to pass. It says, verse 11, thy pomp is brought down to the grave, and the noise of thy vials. Yeah, when you go, again, to the word grave, what does it mean? It's the same word for the word hell that's in verse 9, which means sha'awal. It says grave, pit, hell. So it's just literally the same word.
Man, then the Christians believe there's a place you go and you burn forever and ever and ever and ever and ever. So when they look up the same word, they'll equate it to only you burn in hell forever and ever and ever and ever and ever. All right, and that's not even a just punishment for any crime. You know, the crime you read earlier, Numbers 35, the blood got to be shed by the blood of him that shed it. All right, so if you commit murder, then you have to get put to death also. Not you get put to death 10,000 times or infinity, 1 trillion times. All right, but your spirit will come back into another body. You're not dead and you're just gone forever.
Where's the mercy in that?
Yeah, and think about it, you know, again.
The scriptures even tell you that about the healing of the nations in the book of Revelation. All right. So
If you want to get technical, the only nation of people that would really be like, they could actually say would go to hell is Esau. Esau would be the only one that you could actually say is essentially going to be in a pit that's going to burn forever and ever. Which is that's not what I'm saying. But like, if you're going to go in the scriptures, they'll only say that Esau is going to be, no more. There will be no more remaining as the amount of Esau. So there's not going to be no repentance for that man.
Yeah. So for these, for these Jakes who are saying that, the 2/3, are going to basically the ones who don't repent of the nation Israel are going to go into hell. And really, Esau's going to have it better, because even though he's going to be catching complete hell within the kingdom, he's not going to be, getting burned up for all eternity, like, the Israelites who didn't repent are,
They fucked up saying that. That's a major L. Yeah, they took a major fucking L by saying hell, doctrine, and we're going to have servants at the same time. Yeah, you can't, that's a total contradiction. That's cognitive dissonance problem. You got two contradictory facts existing at the same time. It's fucking crazy. It's one or the other. We either going to have slaves, Edomite slaves, or are they going to hell? So one or the other.
Done. So it says, verse 11 of Isaiah chapter 14, it says, "Thy pomp is brought down to the grave, and the noise of thy vials." It says, "The worm is spread under thee, and the worms cover thee." Yeah, because that represents Esau completely being destitute, to the point where worm, that represents basically everything he has being cast down to the ground, and being like dust.
Worms are word for moth for worms is decay.
Yeah, let's get it. Let's get it.
Yeah, read it. Yeah.
And worms are weak and defenseless.
The kingdom is decay. So worms can cover you.
Yeah.
So the worms destroying the country.
Infrastructure.
So Esau's fucking mad,
That's why that's why right now this goofball Biden said that the way to try to take off a certain percentage of the debt over a period of a decade is to simply tax the rich.
Tax.
Okay? That's the grandiose idea for trying to eliminate some of the national debt. It's just taxes, more taxes, put more strain. Exactly, that's the point. So it just goes to show you that this place has laden themselves with thick clay, debt on top of debt on top of debt. They're not going to ever get rid of the Federal Reserve until they bring in this new system, shall I say, which is going to replace the Federal Reserve. Because that's really what they want. Like in Silicon Valley, you had those two banks that just went under. Okay? You had another train derailment, which all that's really doing is showing you whether it's deliberate or not. It just shows you that they're purposely putting but they're putting a strain on resources, because a lot of our goods, merchandise, if it's not sent on a truck, it's sent on a train, right? Railways. So there's that. And and it's a testament to your infrastructure too.
Yep.
Yep.
Sinkholes breaking.
Because
up.
I believe North Folk Southern, there was a debate as to whether or not they were investing in the safety of their
the PP having them provided
exactly.
proper PPEs.
Which, remember, that's all part of your infrastructure, making sure that the individuals that are on these
sites,
got the proper materials.
They didn't have it.
Yeah. So it does go into that, but there's a lot to unpack there, right? Because that's the thing. An event could have more to it than just one scenario, all right, or more than one outcome. Okay, the role that it plays can have several effects, shall I say?
They were getting sick.
Yep.
The employees were sent out without proper PPE, and they reported getting sick.
What employees?
Yeah, that's of Norfolk Southern.
Norfolk Southern.
Yeah, I
yep.
did a lesson on it.
Yep.
Good lesson on jailheads.
What were they doing?
They over there obviously to clean it up.
Yeah.
And here I did a lesson on it. Yeah, they were sent out there.
But even before these different chain derailments, they were under fire for not properly ensuring the safety of their.
The rail workers.
Yeah, exactly. Yep.
Yeah, that you out in the field, so you gotta. I mean, we're preparing what they're doing. They're working on tracks, the electronics and stuff. You know, they got a safety and all that, and boots and hard hats.
A little bit of a strike there.
Chemical. It was what's that? That chemical that's in vinyl chloride. Yeah,
Vinyl chloride.
Yeah, it was.
It's one of them. Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, they got to hire contractors to do actual cleaning. I don't think they have employees that clean.
And remember,
that's
they
what
just had a
sent out.
hearing.
That's what they sent out.
Was the CEO? I don't know his name off the top of my head right now, but they did have a hearing, and what he said was basically they're going to be with the people of East Palestine today, tomorrow, the next 10 years, and as long as it's going to take, something to that effect. Remember, because before they were telling the people, okay, the EPA, the Environmental Protection Agency, was telling the people, oh, well, everything's safe to drink, you know, and now the CEO of North, can't say that word. Norfolk, Southern, Slovakia.
Yep.
Is and then he was asked the question as to whether or not he would pay people's medical expenses, and he avoided the question by simply saying everything at this point is on the table, instead of just giving a simple yay or nay, right? Because the effects of that situation are extremely devastating. And remember, there's been over 30 train derailments in the last month or so. I think there was a report. What was the most recent one? Is it Alabama, or was there another one? So they're doing something. The man of mischief is at work.
Violent.
Okay. Esau is at work. Cause why? Cause he has to speed things up. You know, he coming upon the earth with that wrath.
Now, if they're using actual employees, real employees to, but they're not trained to clean shit, because it's not. You don't keep employees for mass cleaning. That's not even fiscally feasible. He wouldn't be able to afford what they can afford it, but you know, Esau greedy. You wouldn't keep employees just to clean, so they got to hire contractors or temporary employees, or use the employees they got to do multiple jobs. That's demonic as hell. You got the employee that's supposed to be working on tracks, doing cleaning. I don't even know how legal that is. So
if they did have any training, it would only be to a certain point. Like any job pretty much has your basic introduction to chemical spills, like bloodborne pathogens. Like you get some sort of formal training, but this is obviously outside of their area of expertise. Okay, because it's overwhelming. Ain't nobody trained for that, except for maybe a specialized team where they'd have to call in, right? Because now you're talking about regulations. Everything has to be regulated, and monitored, and right, surveyed. You got some?
Yeah, I did
a little bit of
lesson on
information.
it, that was like a couple weeks ago. March 23rd, or March the 2nd. This off a zero hedge. Workers cleaning up toxic Ohio train derailment are getting sick. A rail union leader warned, right? So you had a top leader. He basically he penned in a letter to the transportation secretary, Pete Buttigieg. It says about the number of rail workers at the Norfolk Southern derailment site in East Palestine, Ohio, who have became sick, likely from toxic chemical spill. All right. It says that Jonathan Long, which is the union rep for the Brotherhood of Maintenance of Away Employee Division.
So the maintenance is cleaning them up. So that's not even their damn job. So are they getting two checks? The job people like police corporations like doing shit like that.
Yeah.
You got one job you're supposed to be doing, and now since your job is postponed or on standby, they make you do another job so you can look busy.
Yep.
So they're making them do fucking multiple jobs and they only get one paycheck. They might be getting hazard. I'm sure they're getting hazard pay.
Yeah,
But still, they get sick and they fucking work.
Better
They
hope.
get
But
sick.
exactly, that's the thing.
Yeah.
You can die, you fall from damn.
You know, when you get hazard pay, that just covers in the event something don't happen to you. You can benefit from that incentive.
Yeah,
there's variables involved.
Yeah, what's the benefit?
There's still risk involved. It's not like, okay, I get hazard pay, it takes the risk out of the situation.
I get 20 extra bucks an hour.
Yeah. It's not really all that much to get happy about because you still need to subject yourself to that environment. Like,
It has things to do with the C-19 stuff. Yeah, certain people on strike or whatever, they weren't getting it or something like that. Or they were getting it and they were jealous of other people getting it and they weren't getting it. You know.
Municipality, they were different people were complaining about
Yeah,
that.
you're considered an essential worker, but they weren't giving no hazard pay for that. You were literally putting yourself on the line for the supposed deathly disease. And you got no, I didn't get no damn hazard pay.
Yeah. Yep.
I was forced to go to work.
Yeah.
So if you're a trash truck driver and you got to back your truck up where the shit they throwing out, you take it to a special landfill for chemicals and all that, you got to be exposed to that shit. That's hazardous. So you got to be getting some type of hazard pay if you're driving a trash truck, a dump truck or something, or even a machine to knock a building down, like the hazard pay for the people that the World Trade Center fell. That had to be getting hazard pay for that. All the chemicals and dust and shit in the air. You know, they should be getting double what they normally make. And they should be getting subsidized from the government.
yeah, that's
and all that.
Make so much more money. The ones who buy them, drive them gas tanks, you know?
Oil tank.
Fuel tanks.
Yeah.
Yeah, them chemical, and they got them global chemical
You got a felony, you can't get it.
trains. Yeah. Con. So Jonathan Long, a union rep of the as I've read already. He said he titled the letter Norfolk Southern is dangerous to America and said about 40 workers were ordered by the railway, which is Norfolk, right? Southern, to clean up the wreckage. Long said workers weren't given proper personal or PPE, personal protection equipment to clean up the toxic wreckage.
Yeah, he's the devil. He does shit like that too. He really does. He sings out to the field unprepared.
Just
He
get
get all
out there,
fucked up
man.
and shit, man. That's why he says-
I got more PPE than the motherfucker provides. Yeah. I can even speak of myself, man. My job, I got more PPE. I spent like over $800 last year on personal protection equipment for my own self. Because, like I said, they just cheap.
Yeah.
They get budgets from, you know what I mean, like different council, you know, mayor's office, etc. You know, and they just want to try to stay underneath so that they can keep some money.
Yeah, there's countless.
You know?
So like, there's countless times at one of my previous employers where they just be running out of shit and just like want to have it, but it's stuff we use every day. How the hell can you be out of this
They don't
stuff?
got no gloves.
Yeah, simple stuff like gloves, shrink wrap.
Yeah.
Bro, how the hell you out of shrink wrap?
Why you ain't order it?
You know, come on.
They got boots that
We didn't get the
seal.
shrink wrap yet.
They got boots that seal that if you step on something, it ain't gonna go through.
Yeah.
You know, they got boots like that you can buy, like Red Wing, certain Red Wing boots.
Yeah.
They have those features, well, not just Red Wings, but different technology and boots. You know, ankle support, you know.
You got something called a dunnage trailer, which that has all your basic supplies for like building, let's say, pallets. You might have cardboard or what they call separators, or some when you're doing chemicals. I know we used to use them what they call species separators. So basically, so you wouldn't contaminate anything, you'd have to use this layer of plastic to try to separate it. Otherwise, what would happen if they were caught, if they got audited, and you got caught not using them, you'd get in trouble, but the company itself could fail that audit for mishandling materials, right? And that would go against their performance, their accuracy, whatever their specifications were. But then you be expecting to get this stuff, you need it in order to do your job, to maintain production, and you open up the back of the trailer, whatever, you know. I'm talking about two different situations or two different jobs, but I do remember getting those dunnage trailers, and then you'd have a certain amount of these, what they were like plastic, almost like corner, I forget what you would call them. But what they would do is they would help balance and weigh down the pallets that were built. You know, they would act as like a guard, and you'd only get so many of them, and they were specialized. So you'd have to use certain ones for each different set of pallets, because the pallets had different things on them. But if you didn't have them, everything would stop. Literally, everything would stop.
been in situations where you didn't have enough of them, and people would just be standing around waiting for another trailer to come where they did have them, all right? Or they had to try to scour the warehouse for any extra that weren't being used and try to like unearth them from somewhere. Otherwise, production would literally just stop, bro. It was crazy. Just a little piece of corner plastic. But anyway.
Yeah.
But it just goes to show you, the whole emphasis, the build up of this was that the worms have covered this place. The Ramah, the decay, because this place is in decay. That's why people are stressed out. You go to work, right? Which work in of itself is already stressful. But you know how much more stressful it is? You're going in there and you don't have the necessary equipment or supplies that you need. It takes a toll. All right? It takes a toll because now you have that burden of performing still on you, and then you got to try to find ways to try to do that same job without them materials. It's like, well, what are you supposed to do?
Yeah.
What the fuck?
No chainsaw, bro.
Yeah.
Yeah. You need a chainsaw,
you know?
using a handsaw and shit.
And then all of a sudden they make an executive decision. Well, go without it. We don't need it. Whatever.
Yep.
For this moment.
Do what you gotta do.
Yeah. Yeah.
It's clean up.
Yeah. Make it quick.
Yep.
Yeah, and then even within the military, because I remember the brother Gabar Yehuda from GMS Hawaii, he was going into it. When he was talking about the war hero or heroine, Jessica something. I forgot her name, but basically she was made like a, just war hero. But he was basically saying, the vehicles they would be driving, it didn't even have no bulletproof windows. It just had like, the plastic rubber, what? The windows have like the plastic, rubber, like, you know what I'm talking about? It's like the rubber clear, barrier type of thing. So it's not even bulletproof windows.
I'm sure it's a bulletproof vest and all that. Like people's families bringing them, buying equipment for them. This is a big thing that the war on terror. They're short on certain supplies. They don't give a shit about the soldiers.
Yeah, so it goes to show you, Esau, any type of way Esau can cheap out, and he doesn't even care about, the health of his workers or, his soldiers or whatever. He's gonna do it. So going to the word worm.
Right, it's like basically he only cares like at selective times. He only
might
puts
affect his company.
Yeah, it's like an emphasis at certain times,
They show that.
and then at other times it's that, he's gonna have to deal with it. Just putting a strain, an extra additional strain on everybody. Company making, millions, even billions of dollars a year, depending on the size of the company. And then here it is. Like the brother said, they're supposed to have a budget for these things. And yet they still somehow are not able, for one reason or another, whether they're willingly, which a lot of the times, it is. They don't really care. It's not really a focal point. So, who ends up having to assume the burden? The employees, the common men, so to speak. The poor, yeah.
Yep. So going back to Isaiah 14:11, it says, "Thy pomp is brought down to the grave, and the noise of thy vials." It says the worm is spread under thee, the worms cover thee. And when you go into the word for worm, it's the Hebrew word ramah, which means maggot, worm, as cause and sign of decay.
As a cause of the sign of decay, yeah. That's why the infrastructure is rated.
Currently
D- still.
C. It might be a C-. I gotta double check.
Yeah.
Yeah,
It's been a while, but
look.
assholes, that's a lie.
It is a lie. It absolutely is a lie. And we all understand that when Esau uses parameters to gauge those things,
It's fucking fraud.
yeah, it's not a true measure.
Yeah. Bullshit.
It's not a true measure. Okay, they're able to
They the only,
leave certain things out.
they're judging themselves.
Yeah.
Like their own. They're self-regulating themselves.
Yeah.
So it's like it's biased.
Yep.
Simple as that. Simple
Yeah, they
as plain.
calculatively leave things out, so it appears as though there are improvements. Because the reality is the infrastructure has declined exponentially. Okay.
Yep.
Yeah.
That's why.
Oh, year over year. You know, that's why you see those signs when you're going on any major roadway interstate. Your tax dollars at work. It's
Bullshit.
laughable at best.
Bullshit.
Okay.
Yeah, most of your roadways are half a century old.
It's laughable
Bridges.
at best.
Yeah.
Now that's not to say they're not doing expansion projects, because they're
Yeah.
doing expansion projects, but that doesn't make up for the infinite decline of your infrastructure, man.
Mm-hmm.
Right? Like y'all don't even take care of the roads that you have, and you're over here expanding shit.
Yeah. Yeah, we're gonna build.
People on
But from traffic signals to highways, they don't have the capacity to hold the amount of traffic and congestion that you experience in the cities.
Yeah.
Like they're not engineered.
To have that much.
Yeah,
on there.
they're not
Wait,
engineered properly.
they were built like
They expand.
Yeah.
Because everything else is 10 years behind.
Look at
They're
them.
just
Yeah.
finishing up different expansions.
Yeah, I mean, and when you go into these neighborhoods, you know, with the sardine houses, like you see how small, you know, in these one-way streets, how small they are.
Yeah.
You know, I remember when I was on my other job, you know, with the box truck, you know, it's wide. So you basically got to go take them, you know, in the middle, kind of go like on the
Right.
double line a little bit,
Yeah.
because you know, that shows you how outdated this infrastructure is.
Yeah. Anywhere from your traffic signaling to your roadways to everything in between. It's absolutely outdated and degraded, meaning to be in a low state, low rank, low status.
people in a low status too. Because if you go 3 miles to the north, they got a street called Frankfurt Avenue. They got nothing but zombies there.
Zombieland.
Stuck on heroin.
Trank, fentanyl.
So
Yeah,
people-
horse. They said they got an elephant in there.
Crazy
Elephant
too,
trank
brother.
in
Is basically every major city in the United States has a zombie land. Has their version of it.
Yeah, and it's the top cities too. NYC, LA,
Yep.
Chicago,
Yep.
you know, Miami, especially.
Yeah, instead of creating a program that's going to help them get off the drugs, they create a program to put them on another drug
Yeah.
that's worse than the drug that they're on.
Yeah, they put them on. What do they
Yeah.
call it? The fucking
Methadone.
Suboxone, methadone,
Right down there.
and all of that.
Give it out there and put
Yeah.
it out and go on the park lot.
Yup. Yeah.
There's a truck driver, tell you, he's right
Off Gerard.
Yeah, so everything is in a state of decay. That's
Yeah.
what we're going into. We just, really emphasizing the point. Because you got knuckleheads out here that for some reason could look around them and see everything that we're saying and still be in a state of denial. So, niggas gotta be destroyed.
It's coming on.
These
I
people,
see it.
these people ultimately got to be destroyed, which that's what it's really going into,
I'll probably put it up there, but
Because this system isn't sustainable, all right, at all.
Here.
Okay, it's basically ripe for the picking. That's why it's in the state that it's in. It's because this place is prophesied to ultimately be destroyed by that thermonuclear fire. All right. So continue on.
It says Isaiah 14:12. It says, "How art thou fallen from heaven, O Lucifer, son of the morning?" Yeah, and what does it mean by falling from heaven? And it's going to get into it. But basically, it can mean, a couple of things. For example, Esau in his power, how high he is basically, above all the other nations. And then we're going to get in, the other point, because verse 13 basically explains it.
Right.
But it says, we're going to get the word for Lucifer, because when people think about the word Lucifer, they think it's really a bad word, which it really isn't.
Negative.
So the Hebrew word for Lucifer is Hayalol. It means light bearer,
Yep.
shining one, morning star. Lucifer. Yeah, and because Esau is the one who put himself as, the light bearer. When you think about, that's why Esau calls the time when Jacob was ruling as the Dark Ages. Once the Renaissance period came in, that represents, everything being renewed and rebirth. So he basically put himself, as the light bearer. Oh, the Renaissance period, it represents, the earth coming back in its light state.
And being enlightened.
Yeah. So
Remember, they see themselves as illuminated,
Yeah,
right?
that's right.
Illuminati.
oh yeah, that's a good one too.
Right? So,
Well, that's where that derives from, right? Keepers or holders of the light,
yep.
right?
Light being knowledge.
That's what they refer to as themselves.
Yep.
Get the contrast with the name the Lord is the Son of the
Oh
Lord.
yeah.
They
Because see, the reason why Esau refers to himself as that is because he does have knowledge of the truth, but then he has the records, has the artifacts. That's right. He has something called the Library of Congress, okay, where he keeps a lot of that stuff. Okay, so he knows what the truth is, but then he perverts it. Right? Then he perverts it, or he withholds that information. Because
You can't take that not the Library of Congress.
no, yeah, unless of course you have exactly. There you go, clearance. Right, like, because even in Esau's different CIA, FBI, they all have a certain level of clearance that gains them access. I think the CIA, they have like some sort of like open search form that gains them access to different events in history and stuff that has all been uploaded, but you only have limited access after a certain rank or something to that
So you
effect.
have to get to a certain rank to
Yeah,
get
exactly.
inside.
Or
They
you'll
know
be,
we're
li-
telling
or
the
you'll, or
truth.
you'll be limited. Yeah.
They know we're telling the truth. You can open up an icon book and say all the images are dark images.
Right.
Hey, yo, you can.
But you got to argue with a Christian
Right.
whether
Actually,
so-
Jesus is
yeah,
a so-called black man.
So all the information that we technically get comes from the Edomites. All right? When you go to these different colleges, you go to these different schools, you go to these different institutions, all of that information has been regulated, okay, and either approved or disapproved by the Edomites. All right? Or Lucifer, because he set himself in that stead. Because he's the one that actually has access to this information, has access to this knowledge, and he's the one that limits, okay, what people know or not know.
It's like a battery.
Right? And a lot of times what he's doing is he's giving you partial truths or he's withholding information and he's giving you the opposite side of it. All right? Okay?
So as a light bearer, so-called white man's a light bearer.
Like,
he has,
right.
He has access to the information.
Exactly. Because as the Elder Apostle Gabar always says, you can't tell a lie unless, of course, you know some of the truth. So that's what he does. He'll mingle the truth with lies. Okay? But he set himself in the stead as the light. That's why you want to know something, who do you go to? Got to go to Esau, right? You got to go to Esau.
Yep.
He's the one regulating the information.
Right.
He's the one controlling the access to these different books and different information that comes out.
Yeah.
That's right.
Yeah. And it's not like that, just for no reason. Esau wants it that way. He wants to be that one who everybody comes to. Read Thessalonians.
Yep.
Where it speaks about how, he's literally trying to set him up to be as a Most High.
Yeah. So even though he set himself up as the light bearer, the real light bearer is Yahweh Shai.
Yeah. I got
The
you.
real Illuminati or enlightened ones is the Israelites, beginning with the hopeful elect. All right? Remember, Esau likes to put himself to look like he's the superior one. All right?
That's a stronghold.
But it's set up like that in prophecy. It is a stronghold. That's right. It's set up like that in prophecy, because I don't want to detract from what the brothers are saying, because ultimately the Lord set this man up to do these things, right? And that's why he is wiser than Daniel, because he searches everything out. That's why he knows, he could study a virus and he'll know all the effects and how it specifically affects this race as opposed to how it is, because he does the research. He conducts the studies. He has human experimentation. So in essence, he is the light bearer on this side, okay? But in totality, he's not the light bearer because he's not giving you the real truth, all right? Because only the Spirit of the Lord can give you that truth, all right? In essence, healing your mind. This devil don't heal your mind. He pollutes, perverts it. So that's what, that's essentially I'm getting,
And he used this light to blind you,
That's right.
confuse you.
Yeah, so get him real quick. Revelation 22 and 16. It says, I, Yahushua, have sent mine angel to testify unto you these things in the churches. It says, I am the root and the offspring of David and the bright morning star. Yeah, and when you get that word, when you basically go into the word morning star, it literally means light bearer, or Lucifer.
Yep.
So, Lucifer isn't really, a bad term. All it means is just a light bearer.
Right. Well, remember, you gotta understand, context changes everything. So Lucifer can have a negative connotation or it can have a positive connotation, right? You usually have a positive and a negative, depending on how things are used, right? Because things aren't necessarily inherently evil unless they're perverted or they're used wrongfully. Then it becomes wicked. Then it becomes adulterated or perverse. The word perverse literally means to go aside, all right? To go another way, right? Or to be crooked, right?
Yeah, so that stronghold, when Lucifer is mentioned, it's not talking about Satan himself.
Right.
The spirit, the spirit Satan. Yeah, it's not talking about that. It's talking about the elite Edomites, the elite so-called white man. Right. The Caucasian Edomites. That's Lucifer as written in Isaiah the 14th chapter. All right. That's a Christian doctrine to say, oh, Lucifer, he's coming from hell. He's gonna release 1,000 years and all that.
No,
The spirit, the demon, Satan. Yeah. You got the so-called white man.
What's that?
He is reigning right now.
That's right.
Lucifer.
That's right.
So, Isaiah 14 and 12, how art thou fallen from heaven, O Lucifer, son of the morning? How art thou cut down to the ground, which didst weaken the nations? So again, that's not literally some, demon from, archdemon from heaven coming down, getting cast down into hell. Not that. That's really symbolic to Esau. How is he falling down from heaven, from his lofty heights? And we're going to get into it. Verse 13, it says, for thou hast said in thine heart, I will ascend to heaven, I will exalt my throne above.
Right, heaven meaning his rulership, his state of rulership.
And they can't be talking about the spirit of demon Satan because Satan was already in the spirit world.
Exactly.
So if they want to go with the Christian narrative,
Right.
Satan was already there already.
And it's going to tell you that he'll amend in the next verse, I believe, anyway. All right, or following a few verses after. But yeah, that's how art thou fallen from heaven, meaning he's not in a state of assurance no more. Okay? Because everything that's happened, right? The Israelites woken up. They standing stiffly for the name of the Lord. Remember, they hid our heritage. They hid the name. They hid this information. Okay? Or they tried to restrict its access. And now, you got the so-called Negroes, Latinos, and Native Americans claiming that they're Israelites, spreading this gospel throughout the four corners of the earth via the internet. Which one was it that said that they wish they never made the internet or wish they never, one of the Rockefellers, right? So it's like despite all their efforts, their kingdom, all right, their beloved kingdom is in jeopardy, and they see that. They see the threat that is before them right now. All right? That's why they're in they're regulating the heavens, they're regulating, trying to, as much as they possibly can, to expedite this UBI system, this universal basic income system, this digital currency, this CHIP. They're expediting it and they're trying to move as quickly as possible. Okay? Because they know that the Lord is coming. But he figures, well, if I can get all these Israelites and most of the populace CHIP, Well, who the Lord gonna come back to save? There ain't no one for the Lord to come back to save, right? Remember, that's this insanity of the devil. Okay? It's an insane belief because in reality you can't do anything unto the Lord's elect, and the Lord said that He had set for Himself 7,000 men that shall not bow the knee to Baal. And that number 7 is just a representation of completion. So He got certain individuals, okay, which are Israelites, from their respective tribes, because we know out of each tribe will come 12,000. That's the government body. That makes it the 144,000. And you got the rest of the multitude, the men, women, and children that will be believers that are not necessary prophets or ministers, but will believe on the testimony, okay, of the prophets. And believe as well. They're not going to take no damn C hit. They're not going to take the MOTV. So how art thou fallen from heaven? Right, because you have no assurance right now. So you're going to pull everything out the deck that you can try to use to retain your power on the earth, but it's still going to fail you. Right? Still going to fail you. This confrontation between Ukraine, United States, and Russia, right? There's nowhere where you come out on top. Right? Because it's not written in prophecy. These different nations, and you being drawn into the Middle East, okay, in the valley of Jehoshaphat, right? It's the angels of the Lord that are stirring those things up to bring you there to ultimately judge you and them. So you are fallen from heaven. All right, go ahead. I just want to,
Yeah, they're losing their kingdom.
they're losing their kingdom.
Losing their power.
Losing their power. And that's another thing. That's why they just, I think, recently writing up another proposal to try to ban TikTok. Because why? Because there's so much information coming out on that platform. It's got well over 10 million users. I think it's got more users than pretty much any other social network. If I'm not mistaken, I could be wrong about that.
I think it got like 100
No,
million.
10. No, it's got 10 plus. I'm just going off of when you go to download it. It tells you how many users.
Oh, users. 10 million users.
Yeah. But that's global, right? That's not just in the U.S. That's global. So the amount of influence that platform has, right? Because they worried about spying on American citizens. America already does that.
Right. I mean, everybody does.
All
it to
that
everybody,
information is
you know?
extracted and sold on.
Yeah,
you know,
That's the funny thing. Cause
Yeah. I'm just saying they trying to use that as one of the main reasons why they want this legislation passed, because they feel that the American people are in jeopardy of having their personal data. So you're already doing that. How do we know that? Because any app that you download, it straight tells you, well, we need to have access to your contacts. We need to have access to your images, your photos, your videos, so on and so forth. So they already got access to that. And, you know, these are American companies. You know?
Yeah.
And they all trade that information amongst each other any damn way. But yeah, they trying to regulate that flow of info. That's all I wanted to bring out of that point. Y'all want to say something on that?
I was gonna say, I think it's a thing that like the average citizen, like a day is surveyed under surveillance like about 200 times a day with cameras and stuff like that. So, you know, through any aspect, you can't do anything without being under surveillance.
Yeah, and then funny thing is when you look at, you know, these news articles saying that TikTok is, you know, they're trying to ban TikTok. You know, I've been seeing people in the comments be like, oh, well, yeah, it's just a Chinese surveillance app. They need to ban it. You know, without even thinking about how much, like.
But yet they'll be on Facebook and Instagram.
Yeah.
And they already admitted that they work closely with these different government entities to the point where they don't even need to use their own databases because you're over there creating the profiles for them. They have all that they need to know based upon the user-submitted info that you put up on these different social media apps. They have already admitted that to you. They don't need to go behind your back because you already suckered into submitting all the information that they would ever need to connect you to anyone and anything. Y'all willingly do that. This brother had some information he wanted to bring out.
Yeah, Con, it says, I put it in Google, how many TikTok users? It says 1 billion monthly active users.
1 billion. So that's a lot of influence, man. Right? A lot of influence there. And that's what they don't want. Right? Because they have to try to be in control of the narrative. Right? They need to hold the influence. You know, so they could steer the people in the direction that they want them to go. That's why they got rid of, I almost called him Anthony, Andrew Tate. That they got rid of the Tate brothers. They got rid of them quick.
Top G.
They got rid of Top G quick.
Top G deteriorated too.
Yeah, got lung cancer.
He deteriorated.
You know?
He just said pure madness.
Right. Because his ideals go against the NWO. What was that? There was a show, somebody posted I don't know if it was one of y'all brothers, but there was a show featuring a black woman, and she was basically claiming the independence, and I think the host of the show said, yeah, welcome to the New World Order, or something to that effect, basically uplifting women, you know? Because part of their NWO is that liberation movement with women. You having women usurp authority over a man, right? Effeminizing men. Basically having all people's living alternative lifestyles. You know? And you know the women are the main advocates of those ideas. They put the women at the head of all those different events. Okay? And they're the main ones advocating that. Like you got a lot of these school teachers, okay? And they're the ones introducing and indoctrinating the children, all right? They're using the women to do that. These women are so damn stupid, okay? As the scriptures say, the Most High has deprived them of wisdom, okay? They don't realize the overall effects. They don't really consider, man, that they're destroying these children. They're destroying their minds. You know?
Quick precept.
Yeah, go ahead.
Isaiah 24, verse 5. The earth also is defiled under the inhabitants thereof, because they have transgressed the laws, changed the ordinance, broken the everlasting covenant.
Yeah, the scriptures, the scriptures tell you, all right, about the two genders, male and female. It talks about being fruitful or multiply, that a man should be with his wife, that's a good thing, right? And that a man should have more than one woman, okay, if he so desire. Now, it's a little impractical in this kingdom to try to practice that. You know, you got women with jealousy issues, you know, you got people that gonna look down, all right, on that. You know, not that it's any of their damn business, but, you know, word spreads, you know. But, yeah, the scriptures are clear, bro. The scriptures are clear. But under this rulership, the scriptures say things have been defiled, man. So, you got all this different level of perversion, and you got the woman at the forefront of a lot of these different wicked, perverse movements. All right? Because they're not capable of thinking things through.
Takes like 10
All right? They'll talk about inclusion, not understand what that really means and how destructive an idea like that can be. All right?
Yeah, the worst crime that you could commit being an Israelite man is having more than one wife. You could pay all the bills, you could buy all the clothes, you could buy all the cars, you could be a perfect man. But if you have more than one wife, that tarnishes everything you ever did for your family. And they'll throw you on the ground and walk all over you for the rest of your life. You'll be nothing.
Yeah. Because, see, a man in this society cannot have any sort of expectation, boundary, all right? You can't. Everyone else is allowed to have an expectation. Like, we're expected to accept anybody. But when it comes to a man saying, you know, I want to lead a godly life, I want, you know, my woman to be in subjection, right? Oh, you're a misogynist, you're this, you're weak, you're a weak man. Y'all, they don't want to shame you and insult you into oblivion. You know? So a heterosexual man in this defiled society is not allowed to have an expectation. Not allowed to have a standard. It's not allowed to have, what's the word I'm looking for? An expectation, but another word for it. A standard. Said that. It's lost on me right now, but the brother read the point, man.
Preference.
A preference. The water. That's exactly the word. So everybody else can have a preference. Hey, man. You the one. You're not allowed to have a preference. But we're supposed to accept everybody else's preferences, pronouns, and all of that madness, man. This place got to go.
Yeah, and the women's logic,
Right.
so-called logical thinking makes no sense. They want to,
They're not rational.
yeah, they want to make it seem like, men are, this and that for wanting, women at a certain age,
Right.
But then think it's absolutely disgusting that a 40-year-old man would want an 18-year-old woman. But then the same women that will say that are on OnlyFans fucking exploiting these older men, and selling fucking bathwater in their fucking panties, these older men and shit, But they're glorifying that. They're glorifying it.
Sugar daddies.
Yeah, sugar daddies. Yeah.
Selling pussy perfume.
Yep. And it's absolutely insane. And it's insane how far how far away we gotten from as a society, because men are uplifting. I won't say we. Men are uplifting that behavior, and that's what's allowed. It is giving them that power.
Right. Yeah, men are at fault. Don't. We're not saying that there aren't men that are at fault.
Yep.
Weak-minded men are as much to blame, if not more.
It's them.
Because remember, weak men make for a what? A weak society. Right?
It's them uplifting righteous women and uplifting women of a godly nature and of a good mindset.
Right.
They're uplifting these whores. Man.
If the majority of men were of the mindset that a woman's supposed to stay at home, she's supposed to be modest, and we emphasize that, and we what's the word? It's like I'm just having one of them days, man, where everything I want to say is losing me the moment I want to go speaking. If we reinforce those values, Wadi, how about Manasseh? Where were you at? If we reinforce them, we would see a much more godly society. We would see less perversion. We would see less of these ideals being able to permeate throughout society. But again, those are all hypotheticals. Because, of course, because this is not the way that the Lord intended it, because we're supposed to learn both sides. That's the thing. We're supposed to learn what it is to be under a wicked vibration and a wicked rulership. So we can take these lessons learned and know what not to do and appreciate righteousness, man, and to desire it much more. Because you know how the way Jake is, man, right? Jake is very rebellious, and Jake got a fickle nature because of their rebellion. So this might be appealing to them, but the ways of the wicked seduce them. So, that's why judgment is really going to be set the standard in the way for the world to come. Because what the Lord getting ready to do to this place, man, the Lord said the things that are going to come to this, Daniel 12, right? And it's like if you're doing a lot of talking, brothers, but, just trying to make sure I hit all the points here. Daniel 12 tells you that's going to be unlike anything that's ever took place. The Lord going to put that fear of him back in the earth is essentially what I'm trying to say. But you go ahead and make your point.
Yeah. I was going to say, obviously we know that this ain't a rest, right? So we're not going to get things the way we want it.
Right.
Ideally, these Andrew Tates and the Fresh and Fits and all that, they do bring a better value that's more so intended, right?
Well, the brothers already, like beginning with the apostles and the elders, they're the real men. Because they're the ones that taught us how to be men.
Exactly.
Like these guys, all these guys came after the fact. In reality, because a lot of them they'll teach you. Well, I'm just. I just want to land back off of that thing of what you just said, because, they're creating a space for men to adopt these ideals and these values and having some sort of self-respect again. But the scriptures teach you that. And we really learned that through the apostles and the elders, you know? Because they only have one, they're hitting the surface level of what it is to be a man in reality. Not to say that that doesn't help the cause. Like these guys, when they come out and they talk about the way that a man should value himself and carry himself, yes, that does help. Don't get me wrong. That does help forward that idea. That is good. That's a good thing.
Allows you to identify the issues too.
Right.
It allows you to identify the issues in Babylon.
Because a lot of these people, they're helping us. They're aiding us, whether they realize it or not. Okay.
A lot of them listen to us.
Yeah.
That's where they get the info from.
Yeah, but like I was saying, you know, like I like guys like Andrew Tate who ruffle it up. But at the end of the day, that's not my lot. My lot isn't to be in this manosphere. Because one thing that we understand,
earning millions of dollars.
Yeah. First and foremost, we're in Babylon, so
right.
we ain't gonna get it like we want it. Like ideally, we would like our women to not be fucking whores, but unfortunately, our women are whores, man, and they're not gonna be, righteous, godly women until this kingdom comes. Right. So, and you know, we're not gonna be able to have multiple wives in respect. I mean, some brothers might have it like that. Some brothers might get them a woman that really don't give a fuck, but you know that you're paying for it somewhere. This woman might be an indulgent woman or damn self, right? And like, you know, we can't expect the law in its entirety, and like that's one of the things of the law. Like, you know, men being men, women being women. Right. You know, we preach it, we say it, but ultimately we know where we're at in this kingdom, and this ain't our kingdom. This isn't our rest. Because like I said, it was up to us. We want it to be right. This ain't our rest. So we up there having, you know, talks and all that, and you know, having a little podcast about. That's
why we've invested our hope in the kingdom that is to come, because we know what the values that we hold are going to be permanently a permanent fixture in our kingdom. Yep. Right? There ain't going to be no such thing as a whore in the kingdom, bro.
Yep. Really.
An adulterous woman.
Yep. Really, what we're doing is we're shedding the light.
In the nation of Israel, there don't be no such thing as an adulterous woman, man. She's gonna be the wife of one husband. Yep. Right. So the values of the scriptures is gonna reign supreme in our kingdom. And they're gonna be enforced every day. Go back to that.
Isaiah 14:13, it says, "For thou hast said in thine heart, I will ascend into heaven, I will exalt my throne above the stars of the Most High. I will sit also upon the mount of the congregation in the sides of the north." Yeah, when you go into it, Esau putting his throne above the stars of the Most High. Again, it can represent him, him in his pride, in his power, his rulership, him thinking that he's above the Most High, and also this devil literally having satellites, within space. It basically shows that he's trying to be on the throne of the Most High. Well, he's trying to eventually leave space, which he can't, but he's trying to himself.
Yep. And he got weapons up in the satellites too.
Oh yeah. Yeah, because it was a video of basically a chariot. They're showing the camera. Esau tried to shoot a laser at it. Yeah. It was moving the speed of light, but before Esau even shot that laser, the chariot's already out. Yep. So that shows you this devil got some technology that he doesn't really show.
But what he don't know is the angels know what you think. They can see your muscles twitch about to move before you can even move. So,
they can see your thoughts, you thinking about doing it before you even move a muscle. So it says, "I will sit also upon the mount of the congregation in the sides of the north." Yeah, and are we in North America right now? Yep. Esau. America is Esau's basis headquarters. For the most part. It says, verse 14, "I will ascend above the heights of the clouds. I will be like the Most High." Again, going to his satellites and his space probes. You be sending up. Oh yeah. Yeah.
Right. They've I think formally named that position God's eye. So whenever they look down from the space stations, they call that God's eye. All right, or God's eye view. But that just goes to show you, not to gloss over that, that just goes to show you the mentality of this Edomite. He said, I will be like the Most High. So it just shows you he got a God complex. All right? That he trying to be like the Most High. He's setting himself up to be the Most High. All right? He wants everybody, Slaki. Yeah. Right. That's true.
Excuse me, Salaki, is that the blasphemy that can't be forgiven?
That's an example of the blasphemy that can't be forgiven. Right, because when you go into, is that Revelation?
One thing to say,
Right, 13?
Yeah.
Put his,
Yeah.
temple.
Well, that's long, right? But it is Revelation 13. You're right.
Angels.
Yeah. But that is correct, brother. That is correct. When he set himself up as the Most High, right? When he set himself up as the Lord, when he set himself up as the angels, and then he set himself up as the people of the Most High, those are some of the examples of the blasphemy against the Holy Spirit. Because the Holy Spirit represents what? The truth. The Spirit of truth. All right?
Yeah.
And he set up himself, okay, falsely as those different judges, right? Angels. Right.
Yeah. Yeah. Job 9 and 24.
You perverted the truth of who the Lord was, man. You perverted the truth of who the Most High was. Because you really set yourself up as the Most High. You want get my thoughts. Esau set himself up in a position to basically be worshipped where the Most High should be.
Yeah, so.
Right.
One thing just to say it, but he actually did it.
Yeah, exactly.
He had the power and money and money and energy.
Right.
Yep. Spiritual demons, Satan.
Yep.
So when you close your eyes and you praying to Jesus, you put extra praying.
Yep. Exactly. That's why images are really play an important role. When he took down the dark images or whitewashed them to iconoclasm, the destroying of icons, he put his image there. So like the brother said, when you go to pray, you know, go to worship your power, you got the image of him inside your mind.
It's a strong one. Scripture says falling down strong.
Right?
And I grew up with that Last Supper image of white Jesus in my head. I saw that.
Nah,
Yep.
we all have.
Yeah, exactly. Right. Right. Shit. And yeah, exactly. We still, so you have invasive thoughts. Invasive imagery.
Nah, hey,
White baby angels, naked angels.
Right.
Nah, yeah. Funny thing is, I think I remember actually throwing away. You know, eventually I threw away. You know that Last Supper we had in the house. I just threw that shit away.
Right.
You know, because I had them Cesare Borgia.
Yeah, that's total fabrication.
Yeah.
Exactly.
That's supposed to be the Passover, Edomite Passover.
Exactly. Right.
Matter of fact, the person that commissioned that was a Moor from Italy. He helped pay for that. That was Jake. They helped pay for that. He commissioned. He was a patron to Leonardo da Vinci. It might be Michelangelo, I forget. But who painted it? But, it was a Ludovico Sforza. You find one of his ancestors on the Borgia series. I believe he married Lucretia Borgia. One of his ancestors, I think his cousin or his brother, or one of his ancestors, actually commissioned the painting for the Last Supper. So he was a Moor. He was probably a Judite that was into the iconoclastic whitewashing of images and all that, or the Renaissance. He was Renaissance. I believe he was from Milan, Italy. So our people had a lot to do with the dark images being replaced with the Caucasian Edomite images, our own people in Italy. How do you think the Cesare Borgia and Alexander
I was just thinking.
got into office because of Israelites? you know, either mixed or fully brown people that were our ancestors, allowed them to be the Pope in Italy.
Yeah, now people still upholding the
They
image
sell
to
out.
this day in all these churches. They upholding the image more than Esau is.
Yep. Yep.
You got 13 churches on
Probably 'cause of
15
my-
blocks. They all believe in white Jesus.
Okay, but
See, Esau got a carnal
Totally
mind,
one
so
for my hand.
like he'll
Fucking
come up,
rip at that shit.
like when we've had experiences with these Edomites in the past, they'll come up and they'll say, yeah, you know what, that has to be historically inaccurate because he was from the Middle East. So he'll make a confession like that, but he's got a carnal mind. All right, had nothing to do with his location. All right, so they try to attribute the fact that now he wouldn't be white. Right. Right. He's trying to attribute the reason why he would be a little darker based upon his geographical location, when in actuality, no, he was a so-called Negro. See, they don't want to really accept it. Right.
You have them in a museum looking at dark images and then go out into the world and still go to church and still think that Jesus is a so-called white man. Because when the brothers was in the museum, you had the Edomites walking around in the museum with all the dark images. So they know, the Edomites that go to museums, they know about the dark images. But within their mind, it means something else to them. And they still trying to figure out the meaning of it. The meaning of the icons.
They have certain paintings locked up in certain rooms, so they, that's not out to the public, public eye and stuff like that. So, yeah.
And just imagine how much they actually destroyed that we don't have knowledge of. You know what I mean?
Yeah. Like you could be looking at some of these paintings with the so-called Moors or whatever. It could be like a famous dude from back then, like Mozart or like Shakespeare or something like that. You just never know.
And remember that, because the brother kept saying the word stronghold, that's a stronghold. If you think about what that has done to us as a nation, that's responsible for a lot of the reasons why a lot of our people hate themselves. Because you basically taken the place of what Esau really is, right? Think about it. He's the one that has no heritage, right? He has no heritage. He has no real, prominent history outside of being a damn devil, heroism and all that. That's us.
Caveman.
But when we go to look for it, it's non-existent. We see in this man's face. So you start to hate yourself and wonder why can't I be more like him? I want to be more like him. So our people aspire or look up to the enemy now.
Yeah.
So
it's
it's
got. Y'all remember the test with the babies when they was picking the little white thousand?
Yeah. I do remember
They
that.
just
I
put
know
it in
what you're
front.
talking about.
These are little kids. They don't really know nothing yet. But the images affected them so much. They start picking the baby that didn't look like them.
Right. Con. Yep.
So I can't
No. You good. You good.
Power over images.
Yep.
But then you got stupid people out there that think it's not really a big deal. You can't talk to most people. You just gotta ignore them. Right, wait for them to suffer. Then they want to come talk after that when they start suffering. Somebody get that to the point Ephesians, I think the 6th chapter, or it might be somewhere else.
Strongholds, 1 Corinthians, 2 Corinthians 10 and 4.
Corinthians. Pulling down the strongholds.
I think that's either 1st or 2nd Corinthians. 1 Corinthians 10 and 4.
I'm thinking about the whole armor of the Most High. That's what I'm thinking about Ephesians 6.
Yeah.
That's pulling down the strongholds.
We're going
And look at strongholds too.
How much more of that do you got? We'll finish on that, I guess.
Yeah, it's just a little bit more.
Yeah, you're French.
God, Isaiah 14:14, I will ascend above the heights of the clouds.
It's literally and figuratively.
Yep.
Right? Up to like whatever part they can reach to. I forget the troposphere, stratosphere, all that. Some of it actually get violent, like wind and all that. Temperature drops. So Esau got to go through that to get to a point, but he can't get past a certain point.
Right.
Yeah, that's why it takes it took them 25 years just to develop the James Webb telescope, because how extreme the environment is in space. So it says Isaiah 14:14, I will ascend above the heights of the clouds. I will be like the Most High. Verse 15, yet thou shalt be brought down to hell, to the sides of the pit.
again, that word for hell is the same as Shawwal, which means grave or pit. So he's literally going to be brought down to the lowest, you know, to the ground. Not in you know, this spiritual hell, whatever. No, it's just he's going to be cast down to the grave, man. Represent, you know, all of his power and his rulership being dust.
His dominion over the earth is going to be non-existent. So he's going to have no power. He's going to have no power. His power is going to be taken away. So that's going to be, remember, that's hell. To have all the power, to go from having all the power to influence and everything of the earth to not having it at all, that's hell. Imagine, man.
Perfect rare steak every day. Esau, perfect rare steak, not tough. You know, some steak will get tough. Certain cuts will get tough on you, so you gotta beat it, marinate, and all that. You know, Esau never had hit the elite anyway. Never had a tough, rare, bloody steak like they like to eat it. In 2 minutes on each side, then cut it open to eat it. It's fucking demonic as hell.
Yep. You know, basically fulfilling your heart's desire.
Yep.
Good food, good comfort. Took it away, so Esau going to the
Yep.
third one.
They got all the time too, and they got all that money and all that.
God, and it says verse 16 of Isaiah chapter 14, it says, they that see thee should narrowly look upon thee and consider thee, saying, is this the man that made the earth to tremble, that did shake kingdoms? Yeah, because they're really going to see you for what you are, the basic man of all people, the other nations. It says, verse 17, that made the world a wilderness and destroyed the cities thereof, that opened not the house of his prisoners.
Yeah, because he's the man. Yeah. He's the man. Men build jails, build prison systems, right? And they build figurative, like mental prisons also. Because the majority of our people are trapped.
Yeah. That's really what America really is. It's just one big prison. You know, really, it's one big prison, and it don't make a difference where you go, because we understand that the hegemon of the world is the Edomite. Okay, he got all the power and influence of the world. Okay, so until this man is taken down, the earth and the peoples will not have rest. The Israelites will not have rest. Okay? Not to mention, you can't escape the curses, and this Edomite has been designed to forward the curses. All right. Is that it?
Yeah, I think that's
okay. Yeah, you're gonna be destroyed for that. Yeah, you're gonna be destroyed for all that you've done to the Israelites, all that you've done to the earth. Okay? All your perverse ways that you push upon the people, you're gonna get recompense for all of that wickedness. Esau, go ahead. 1 Corinthians.
Yeah. 10:4. It says 2 Corinthians 10:4. It says, for the weapons of our warfare are not carnal, but mighty through the Most High, through the pulling down of strongholds.
Look up strongholds. Somebody get reincarnation and regeneration. Let's end it on that.
God, it's a Greek word.
We should get Ecclesiastes, the first chapter. That's a good one. Kind of right to the point.
God, it's a Greek word. Okirama.
Oh, by the way, I just want to throw this in there real quick. You do got certain scholars, like if you do a basic search, we could do it now too as a test. But if you look up reincarnation in the Bible, one of the first things that these scholars will give you is the reincarnation of John the Baptist. So they will accept that, but they go off because they say that basically was a unique experience specifically for John the Baptist. So they do acknowledge it, but then they detract by saying, but that was just that circumstance. No, it wasn't just that circumstance. All spirits are reincarnated. Okay? Okay? Spirits of men and the spirits of beasts, they're reincarnated. And man really is the highest form of beast anyway. All right?
But go ahead, Slaki.
Got a Greek word says
Oko-Roma. It says a castle, stronghold, fortress, anything on which one relies.
Yep. They rely on images of Caucasian Edomites being the people in power and everything great. Like the church, they believe that the church was started by Edomites. That's what they believe. They believe European music, popular music, which would be like Baroque, classical, modern, oppressive, they believe that was what started in the church. They believe that was all created by a so-called white man. Right? But Esau didn't create any form of music. Nothing.
Yeah, I mean, you got to think about it. You came from the literal caves. You know, you came as a literal beast man. You know, a beast doesn't have the ability to, you know, make these types of concepts and, you know, complex, what's wrong with you?
Arrangements?
Yeah, you know, these complex, you know, ideas.
Well, he
right?
he didn't necessarily come out of the cage. He devolved into the cage.
Yeah.
He devolved into the cage, and then eventually he, the Lord brought him out of that beast state. But he actually devolved into that state over a period of time. Yeah.
You know, then emanated out to the other nations. All right, but Esau, he's not original. So, well, you could say Esau is a Hebrew, all right? So we know certain things, you know, but the actual creation of a genre, Esau ain't got nothing to do with that. All right, nothing to do with the creation of rock and roll. Definitely didn't create rock and roll. Definitely didn't create jazz. Definitely didn't create blues. Popular music, well, it came from Europe, was by Moors. Moors created that.
Right, because technically,
Rock and roll is a
combination of soul and blues, which was very popular in Louisiana, right? That's where that music, I believe, originates. All right, down in the South, and then it eventually formed into what we now know as rock and roll. And remember, you can't deny that. Who came up with soul and blues? Just that term soul in general. You know?
If they do got sold, they 9 times out of 10, Jake.
They're Jake anyway, right?
Well, we just got talent, you know? Because we just use Michael talent.
Yeah.
That's emulating Jake.
Yeah. You got Mike.
Yeah, well, you got. I brought this example up before. You got talent, really talent or skill. I'll say that they're really skillful guitar players.
Drummers.
You know,
Bass players, like Michael Rose.
yeah, they're really skillful.
Bass players.
Yep. Yeah, but there's not really any soul there. You know, not any really. So you can't really get into it, so to speak. You could admire like, oh man, this person got really fast, quick. You know, he got a good understanding of what they call music theory, right? The changing of. Yep.
Yeah, that's why when you look at, you
But
know,
real soul, raw emotion.
Yeah.
You know, that's Jake's thing, man. You know, Jake can move you. Okay.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, exactly. That's a perfect example. You know that man is 18 years old, and he been playing since he was what, 7? Because he said he was a piano player for 11. When that man sung and did the opera, I was like, whoa, this is you can't deny Jake's abilities, man. We are definitely the blessed people, and damn, Salakia, man. Peculiar. That's the word I wanted. Former all things, which first with Yahweh, then Jake. Yeah, former all things, man. That's true. We're the former of all things. Okay, beginning with our Lord Yahweh.
I'm still like, I have to bring this up from that. I'm so sorry. Remember the Roman Empire? They destroyed Israel, and then when they got them out, they asked them to sing the songs while they was in slavery. You know what scripture I'm talking about? When they destroyed, they used to hear them sing, and they liked it so much. When they conquered Israel, they asked them to sing the song while they was in chains. Am I right? That's the scripture, right?
like Judah used to, Esau used to put their feet on little Jake.
Bellies.
Yeah, they backs or their stomachs to help cure their diseases.
Rheumatism.
Yeah, he used to put And Esau, he's like a witch doctor. He's like a demon. So he got superstitions and all that. So he know that Jacob is blessed. So, literally, he would rest their feet on back of little boys and girls. I believe it's boys. And think they would cure their problems with their feet and their legs. Esau knew Jake blessed. Whether it worked or not, I don't know. But he wasn't in our power. I'm sure if we were in our power, we could have healed it easily.
I got a precept for you. This is Isaiah 51:23. It says, "But I will put it into the hand of them that afflict thee, which has said to thy soul, bow down that we may go over." That went over. So that's the scriptures.
Yeah, I saw soldiers like horses and horses walking in circles. You underground, you saw his feet. Literally back then and figuratively now, You saw you the devil. You got a lot to pay for. Like that was impossible to say. Right, where were you at? Stronghold, definition of strongholds.
Yeah.
We go through that again and then reincarnation, the definition, and scripture, and regeneration. It's the same thing. Right?
Gone. 2 Corinthians 10:5. It says, casting down imaginations.
Casting down imagination, those images, right?
And
Part of the imagination.
Gone. And every high thing that exalteth itself against the knowledge of the Most High, and bringing into captivity every thought to the obedience of Hamashiach.
Every thought to the obedience. So if you got that whitewash image, English, European, you say European music, you think East Edomites, Caucasians. All right? And they got the pictures in Wikipedia, which Wikipedia is like a government website. That shit, a lot of shit don't ever be wrong. They have images on there with Edomite faces. All right? And it makes you think that Esau created everything, which he didn't. Esau is a talentless demon. All right? And the Lord, you could say the Lord gave him grace at times to give him blessings to to write music, songs, and everything. That in the kingdom, everything here is gonna be like shit compared to what we're gonna be writing in the kingdom.
Yeah, I mean, Esau's really only good at doing wickedness. He's good at making weapons, which really, the Lord blesses him with that. Yeah, the Lord said.
He's managing. He's good at managing.
Yeah.
Certain things.
Within yeah. And also, like the scriptures say, the Lord created the smith. So what? Which is known as the Germans. The Lord blessed the Germans, with the mind to make these complex, weapons. So.
There are definitely There's one thing Esau's really skilled at, is his blessing. That's the sword, man. Like you watch him, pick up a gun, and you be like, God damn, that's one thing that Esau could quote unquote impress you with is use with the firearm, man.
That recent Edomite that
fucking snipe people from 300 meters away,
That recent Edomite that did
talking
that.
like a wind.
Yep.
Yeah, that Edomite that did that last shooting. What's his name?
Regeneration,
over there, the Jehovah's Witness
Regeneration.
church.
Oh yeah.
Over there in Germany, he was he actually was registered as a marksman, and because he got registered as he is a gun owner.
Washing regeneration.
Yeah. Regeneration, in a regeneration.
In the generation when the Son of Man.
That's a good scripture. It's regeneration. What's the other word?
Reincarnation?
No. Regeneration is another word.
Reincarnation?
No.
Regeneration is back in the G.
Right. That's in the scriptures, though. Not.
Resurrection?
Resurrection. Yeah. Regeneration.
God, it says Matthew 19:28, and Yahushua said unto them, verily I say unto you.
Did a brother get Ecclesiastes, the first chapter? Get that real quick. And then another one we could hit with that one just in conjunction is 1 Corinthians 14 and 32. To get that, and then read what you're already reading. To solidify the point. So that way we bring about three precepts out on the subject. Go ahead.
Gone. Matthew 19:28. It says, and Yahushua said unto them, verily I say unto you, that ye which have followed me, in the regeneration, when the Son of Man shall sit in the throne of his glory, ye shall also sit upon 12 thrones, judging the 12 tribes of Israel.
Look the word up. Regeneration. They'll be back. They're going to come back. Which is reincarnation. They'll come back into another flesh, not the same flesh, but a new flesh.
Yep. Which if you're gonna ignore reincarnation, you'd have to say that's only specific to them men then, which is ridiculous. You know, how could it be for them, but not for the rest of the nation of Israel?
So they're not going to be spirits. Right? They're going to be in bodies, terrestrial bodies. They're going to be turned up, superhuman bodies that are able to go through different spheres of existence.
He got that appreciation.
So the Greek word for regeneration, it says pelegenesia. It says new birth, reproduction, renewal, recreation, regeneration.
So why don't they teach that in the church? Regeneration, which is reincarnation. How you would say it today. Reincarnation. The Bible says regeneration. So read those definitions again.
God, it says a new birth, reproduction, renewal, recreation.
Recreation.
And then it says, hence, renovation, generation, or regeneration, the production of a new life consecrated to the Most High, a radical change of mind for the better. The word often used to denote the restoration of a thing to its pristine state, its renovation as a renewal or restoration of life after death.
Yeah. That's it. The Lord said, Yahushua, that their spirits are going to come back in new better bodies.
Yeah, I got to precept. 2 Corinthians chapter 5 and 1. For we know that if our earthly house of this tabernacle were dissolved, we have a building of the Most High, and house not made with hands, eternal in the heavens. Spiritual body. Yep. For in this we groan earnestly, desiring to be clothed upon which our house, which is from heaven. Clothed represents having that new body. Okay? Meaning putting on that immortality. All right? We want that immortality, which in order to have that immortality, our bodies need to change. Right? Need to change. 2 Corinthians, the 5th chapter. Yeah.
15, right?
Yeah, con. So I'm just making the point that when our spirits, they may ascend, like if we were to pass on, right? But ultimately the Lord gonna give us a new body, okay? Which proves that the Lord takes the spirit and puts it in new bodies. Now that's the ultimate form of a new body, is when we inherit that perfection. But it's just making the point, all right? Just making the point. Right. That's right.
Oh, yeah.
That's right. And that's a perfect example. So wait a minute. So they gonna get new bodies, but they're gonna be in them spiritual bodies. All right? Those bodies of perfection. Okay? To do what? They're gonna be risen up first, and then when this destruction passes, right? They're gonna come down, okay, with the rest of those that had to ascend upward, because we all need to be changed, like the brother quoted, twinkling of an eye. And we're gonna rule the earth, all right? Because we already read earlier in the lesson that our dominion is going to be here on earth. The rest of the nation's designation is going to be here on earth. They're going to have to serve their captivity here on earth, all right? So ain't going to be no burning forever. Salaki, I just said. Since, right. Right. Come on, I'm going to read 2 more verses. It says, if so be that being clothed we shall not be found naked, For we that are in this tabernacle do groan, being burdened, right, being in this flesh, all right, this particular body. Not for that we would be unclothed, but clothed upon, that mortality might be swallowed up of life. That's right. Yep. That's only for Israelites. Yep. Right, because they're going to be regenerated. Yeah. It's God. Perpetual. Right. That's what it means. Perpetual servitude. They're going to have to keep coming back and serve Israel. Yep.
I have another one. Oh yeah, the brother just quoted it. It says, verse Thessalonians chapter 4 and 16. It says, for the Lord himself shall descend from heaven with a shout, with the voice of the archangel, and with the trump of the Most High, and the dead in Hamashiach shall rise first. Then we which are alive and remain shall be caught up together with him, or with them in the clouds, to meet the Lord in the air, and so shall we ever be with the Lord. Yeah, so it's clear cut, man. You know, the ones who are already dead, the Lord's gonna rise them up, or you know, they're in the heavens already. But you know, basically the Lord's gonna regroup all of the elect. You know, once Yahweh Shai makes his return, and you know he you know, basically the elect that are on the earth are called up already. You know, Babylon's destroyed, and that's where it's gonna take place. And before the elect on the earth is beamed up, you know, basically the ones, like it says right here, the ones who are already in the heavens, the Lord's gonna come back with them first.
They're gonna be the first ones to get those ultimate bodies of perfection. Be the first ones in the chariots. Right?
Yeah.
Because they're already in the spiritual world, but they're at rest. They're at rest.
Paradise.
Yep.
We can't even describe what they're experiencing.
Right. Well, I'm saying rest because you got the word sleep, you know. But they're really at rest, you know. Peace of all their labors. Right. Anyway, go ahead. Is that in on that?
Yeah, it says verse 18, it says, wherefore comfort one another with these words.
Yeah, that's comforting right there. That's comforting to know that we're going to be delivered out of these bodies of death, these chains of darkness, this corruptible flesh. You know, that one day we are going to inherit absolute perfection. And that day is when Yahweh Shai comes. Okay? You know, which that's what we're on the watch for. We're on the watch for, all right? All these prophecies coming to pass. That's indicating really his coming. But soon will be. You know, very, very soon. The Lord said that now is our salvation nearer than when we believe. So, you know, any day, those final two prophecies are going to take place. You know, they're going to mandate that sea hit. However they're going to do it. You know. Remember, we are in the year of all the hope of all the prophecies hopefully coming to pass. So, Lord's will, this be the year we see those things come into effect, and ultimately we can get salvation. You know, get delivered out of here. So, go to the next precept, reincarnation, Ecclesiastes. One, and you should already know where to go. About 5, 6.
Is there any new under the sun?
Yeah, yep.
9.
Is that 9? You can start up.
There's another one too.
Yeah, 5 to 7, right?
Let's go to the point.
Ecclesiastes chapter 1, verse 9. The thing that have been, it is that which shall be. And that which is done is that which shall be done. There is no new thing under the sun.
Yeah, there's no new thing under the sun. All right? That's why you see even kingdoms, right down to rulerships and kingdoms. This place carries the vibration of ancient kingdoms. You read in the book of Revelation, what is that, 11? I believe it's Revelation 11, where it says their dead body shall lie in a great city, which is called spiritually Sodom and Egypt. Spiritually now, because remember that this is a reincarnation, all right, of that spirit. It's just been amplified, but they carry that same vibration of ancient Sodom, all right? Egypt, because this is where we're serving our bondage, all right, our current captivity, all right? So everything that was back then is here today, okay?
Levi's Roman Empire.
Yep, it's the revival of the Roman Empire. So not only is the spirit of those different rulerships into effect, so are the people who were subject to them. So, and that you could read, what is that, Ecclesiastes 12, right? The thing that is named is man.
Yeah, that's
Brother, want to get that real quick to finish that off. You know where it's at, just get it. Don't be, let's go to the point. Read that again while they're looking for that.
Ecclesiastes chapter 1 verse 9. The thing that have been, it is that which shall be, and that which is done is that which shall be done. And there is no new thing under the sun.
Gone. All right, next precept.
God, this is 1 Corinthians 15:40. It says, there are also celestial bodies and bodies terrestrial, but the glory of the celestial is one, and the glory of the terrestrial is another. There is one glory of the sun, and another glory of the moon, and another glory of the stars, for one star differeth from another star in glory. Verse 42, so also is the resurrection of the dead. It is sown in corruption, it is raised in incorruption.
Incorruption means not no death or no decay. Incorruption. So he's just saying resurrection is incorruption, as the brother just read.
Yeah, it says aparthesia for incorruption. It says perpetuity, purity, sincerity, and incorrupt.
Yeah, look at resurrection.
Resurrection is anastasis, or stasis. It says a rising up from the dead, that of Hamashiach. And then it says that of all men at the end of this present age. And then it says the resurrection of certain ones, history, who were restored to life.
How the reincarnation don't exist. I don't understand that one.
Yeah. And then another one says raised to life again.
Yeah. Right. The elder gave an example about the Israelites that were dead, came back to life. They could have been righteous, they could have been extremely wicked, some of them could have been murderers, so it didn't say. Mm-hmm. So it don't matter what you did. They said they were raised up. All right? And they lived normal lives. Lived out the rest of their life. All right?
If your brothers are still looking for it, it's Ecclesiastes 6 and 10.
6 and 10. So reincarnation back in the flesh is a real thing. Right? And it is possible to be raised from the dead. Elijah was doing it. Elijah, the widow's son, he fell sick and all that.
Yep. See, they go off because they don't realize that the scriptures will describe what it's like to be back on the earth. You don't know of your former life. The Lord blocked that knowledge. You know, even though you might have certain remnants, you know, feeling of things being familiar, although you might really be coming upon it the first time in this life, but you may have been there at a time. But they actually have examples where people actually remembered their past lives, where the Lord opened up that knowledge. Which really supported evidence. I remember there was a story where that child was claiming that he got murdered. And he was actually able, through his parents, to locate the grave site and everything, and they discovered his body.
You might have a vision or a dream.
Yeah.
You're experiencing something from the past.
Past life, yeah.
That might be you or another brother that you might be.
That's right. That's right. Done.
200-300 years ago.
You got the precept? Ecclesiastes 6 and 10.
Yeah. It's a book of Ecclesiastes.
That's what I really wanted to follow Ecclesiastes, the first chapter, but that's all right. Go ahead.
It's a book of Ecclesiastes, chapter 6, verse 10. It says, that which hath been is named already, and it is known that it is man, neither may he contend with him that is mightier than he.
So, in verse, Ecclesiastes, the first chapter, we read about the thing that which is that which shall be, right? And it hath been, and there's no new thing under the sun. Well, one of those things, okay, is men, okay? So, men, all right, women, but men in general, just using man as a general term of reference, is reincarnated. So here it answers that. What's that thing? That thing is man. So read that one more time, Baba Pasha.
This is Ecclesiastes 6 and 10. It says that which hath been is named already.
That which hath been is named already. Okay? Go ahead.
And it is known that it is man.
And it is known that it is man.
Subject matter man.
Yeah. So now, here's the thing. In the ancient world, all right, or even, let's say, going back 2,000 years ago during the Lord's time, they had knowledge of reincarnation. Okay? That's why when you go into the Gospels, all right, when Yahushua went to Peter, he asked, who sayest that I am? Right? And he said, well, some say that thou art John the Baptist, some say thou art this one, that one. He said, no, but who do you? He said, son of the living power, son of man. All right? And that's when he said, blessed art thou eyes. Okay? For man had not revealed his son to you, all right? But the Most High in heaven. Loosely paraphrased. But why would he say that, oh, you were this one or that one? Why? Because they understood about reincarnation. They understood about reincarnation. So I'm just using that as an example and using that to back it up as well. Okay?
I got an example.
Okay. I want one more before you get that. Get 1 Corinthians 14.
It's another one.
Okay. No, that's good. But I want 1 Corinthians 14 to come out first.
Yeah, 1 Corinthians 14, verse 32. And the spirit of the prophets are subject to the prophets.
Yeah, the spirit of the prophet. So what does that mean? If you were a prophet before, when you come back, you're going to be a prophet. Whatever lot or designation you had in the previous life, you're going to be that in the one to follow. Okay? So if you were a scoffer in the ancient world, you'll be a scoffer in this present time. If you were a prophet, if you followed the Lord back then, you're going to be a prophet or you're going to follow the Lord now. All right?
Go back to Ephesians 1 and 5, I believe. Predestination.
Con.
Predestined.
Okay, brother, go ahead.
Con. This John 9 and 1, it says, and as Yahushua passed by, he saw a man which is blind from his birth. And his disciples asked him, saying, Master, who did sin, this man or his parents, that he was born blind? It says, Yahushua answered, neither hath this man sinned, nor his parents.
Yeah, now why is this being said? Because they had understanding that when you come back in the third and fourth generation, that's where you fulfill the judgment of a previous life. It just so happened that in this experience, it happened to be neither him nor his parents. Now, why would it say parents? Because technically speaking, you would be your foreparents. All right? So if you had let's say you had a son and then a father.
Yeah, he's born blind.
He was born blind.
Right. So he can hurt the spirit.
Right. He was born blind. So that tells you that disability.
He couldn't sin in his flesh.
Exactly. But he was specifically born blind for the purposes of Yahweh Shai performing a miracle, okay, to uplift Yahweh, all right, to uplift his father, okay, the power of the Most High. But read visiting, we should already have that on deck. Visiting the sins of the
Exodus.
yeah, y'all should already have that, man. Come on. If you gonna get that, you gotta get where that's coming from. But that would be it. So if you had a son, right, that would be a generation. Father would be second, grandfather third, so on. Great grandfather fourth. There would be 4 generations. So if I had a son, right, let's say I had a son, and then he had a son, and I passed, I could possibly come back to that next generation to come. So just to give you some understanding.
What you got?
3rd and 4th generation.
Yeah.
Got it. Okay. So let's get why that was said. Yeah, you read it.
Exodus, it says Exodus 20:5. It says, "Thou shalt not bow down thyself to them, nor serve them, for I, the Lord Yahweh, thy power, am a jealous God, visiting the iniquity of the fathers upon the children, unto the 3rd and 4th generation."
Visiting the iniquity upon the children of the 3rd or 4th generation of them. Go ahead.
that hate me.
Right. So it was assumed that when they saw this man was blind, he must have did something in his past life for him to have been born blind in this one. Because remember, that next generation that you come in, you play out whatever the judgment was. Remember we talked earlier about when you go into the heavens, you get judged. And the Lord tells you what your destination is going to be in the next life when you come. And then you have to fulfill it. So it was assumed when they saw that man and his blind, who sinned? Him or his parents, all right?
Can I get a
Free spirit goes to your next of kin. So
Yeah.
it's not your direct great grandfather, but your brother.
Yeah,
Your brother's
that's right.
line. Right? So, yeah, so it's within your family unit tribe.
Family line,
So
right.
it can go wide.
Con.
So it's up to the Lord.
It's
but
really
it
up
goes-
to the-
it
it
goes-
really is up to the Lord.
It goes within your family. So it could be your brothers, uncles.
Those are basic general parameters, right?
Yeah.
For it. So that's why that was assumed, but it turned out that in this particular case, that really wasn't what was going on. He was born blind for the manifestation of the power that's in Yahweh Bashem Yahushua. You know?
I got a precept to that if you don't mind.
Hold that.
sorry.
No, hold that, and let's get what else we got. That's it.
I got one.
You said you got one? And then you got to look at Esdras. Esdras is another example. So when he was going through it,
That was me.
and he was seeing the different visions of what was to come, he said, woe is me, who shall deliver me in those days? Okay? Because he foresaw the destruction of America. So he had understanding that was going to happen future tense. So he knew that he was going to be back at that time. Okay? Which just proves what we read prior about the spirit of the prophets subject to the prophets.
Yeah, because the visions, the Lord transports you to the time, to the period. It could be literally you in that actual scene, or you could have like an observer view. Could be either one. We don't know exactly what Ezra's experienced, but he could experience, his prophecy. Yeah.
This Revelation chapter 10. I'm gonna start at 9, point at 11. And it says, and I went unto the angel and said unto him, give me the little book. And he said unto me, take it and eat it up, and it shall make thy belly bitter, but it shall be in thy mouth sweet as honey. And I took the little book out of the angel's hand and ate it up, and it was in my mouth sweet as honey. And as soon as I had eaten it, my belly was bitter. And he said unto me, thou must prophesy again before many peoples and nations and tongues and kings. So thus being the spirit of the prophets, subject of the prophets, this is John the Revelator, he would have to come back in a regeneration or reincarnation, prophesying again, all right, against
He's
many.
an old man by that time. I don't know exactly. You can probably look up how age
John
he was
and
when he wrote
Patmos,
it.
when he was on there.
John the Revelator.
He was
John the
Isle of
Revelator.
Patmos.
Yeah. So if he had, he was over 40, right? And he was in jail. He never got released from jail on the island. So what it's saying is, like the brother said, he has to come back. He has to be reincarnated as a prophet in the future and prophesy again.
He would have been somewhere. Yeah, because John the Revelator, remember, he was that was during the mission. Yeah, the mission. Right. It said if John was born early in the 1st century, he would have been somewhere between 80 to 90 years old.
When he wrote the letters, the book. Yeah, so that's old man. So you can't go out and preach at 90 years old, 90 plus, Well, yeah, everything was organic back then, but you still got sick and lost your vision and all that, So that's it. That's reincarnation is a thing. It's in the scriptures. We keep reading it over and over and over again. All right, and being able to raise someone from the dead, being raised from the dead. All right. That's not something that's outside of the Judean Christianity world, so to speak.
I was about to say, it says Job seen his sons and his son's sons. Like, basically, because I think when you go into it, Job, he lived like 100 plus. So he lived like as long. He lived, that long to see his sons and his son's sons again, right? I think the apostles would brought that up.
There is a precept in Job though about reincarnation as well.
Yeah.
You know that one? We can end it on that.
That's Job to say about how.
If you know exactly where it is, get it.
Yep.
Ecclesiastes or Job?
No, Job.
No, it's in Job.
Oh, Job. Yeah.
Thy Redeemer. My eye shall see thy Redeemer.
Time.
Which is Redeemer?
See him and not another. Yeah. See him and not another.
Y'all picked it up? Y'all got it?
Oh, I thought you.
Oh, y'all want me to get it?
I'm gonna get it for.
Yeah, come on.
It's a race.
Alright. I don't know if I can spell Redeemer.
Then you got Ephesians 1 and 5. I believe it's the 5th verse. Predestination. So it's already written. The scriptures are already written. We just got to act it out. And sometimes we do bad, then we do good. But ultimately, if we are the elect, we're going to do good.
25, right? Job 19 and 25. It says. Yeah, it says, "For I know that my Redeemer liveth, and that he shall stand at the latter day upon earth. Though after my skin though after my skin worms destroy this body, yet in my flesh I shall see the Most High."
Wow.
Yep.
Explain that.
Yep. So Job would have to
Explain
come
that.
back, man. Job gonna come back.
Like the elders used to break down, it's like it's not an 11,000-year-old or 8,000-year-old Israelite that never died. It's not talking about that. It's talking about you died, decomposed, and you came back in new flesh.
Yeah. Came back in new flesh. That's what he just described. The old body was destroyed. His spirit went into the spiritual realm. All right? But he came back. All right? He was regenerated, reincarnated into a new body.
Yeah, like the ones who pierced Yahweh's flesh.
Yep.
Oh, yeah.
Are these still old men?
Yeah, another thing, the elders used to break it down same exact way. That same now, there's not a 5,000-year-old or 2,000-year-old person still alive that never died. They're going to come back into the flesh. Right?
Yeah, every eye shall see him, even those which pierce. Oh, well, wait a minute. Even Yahweh Shai said about this generation. This will be the last generation.
Oh, yeah.
So what does that mean? all those people at that time are here now. Yeah. Well, yeah, they of course they all died. They died when they came back, but they're that generation. Okay, they just came back. So you can't get around it. Yeah, Khan.
Psalms 119,
You said
verse 104.
got Job 4.
Through thy precepts I get understanding, therefore I hate every false way. Yeah, so we went through a plethora of precepts to gain understanding on reincarnation, regeneration, and hell, and all the above. And that's how we get the understanding. We hate every false way. So when you say you're gonna die and go to hell forever, that's a false way, and we hate it.
Yeah. That's adding to the book. So that's adding to the book. You're gonna die in a lake of fire.
We're gonna end on this brother's precept right here. Let him get one in.
Job 4:7. Remember, I pray thee, whoever perished being innocent, or where were the righteous cut off?
Keep reading.
Oh, keep reading.
Yep.
Okay. Even as I have seen, they that plow iniquity and sow wickedness reap the same.
Right. So the Lord gives you a designation according to your works, So let's say you had a so-called newborn come into this life for just a couple days, months, right? And then all of a sudden, that child is put to death for whatever reason, right? The Lord sanctioned it, right? Has what he said, whoever plowed iniquity, right, reap the same, right? Because we understand for the wages of sin is death. But let's say the baby was just a couple days old and was put to death, all right? Would the Lord sanction that child really for any reason, but generally speaking, the Lord got him in this life for something that he potentially did in a past life. Okay, that can be applied there as well. Okay, because whoever perished being innocent, people got the mindset when a so-called youth dies at an early age that somehow that automatically grants them the status of innocent. That's not true, because you don't know what the Most High, like I was telling this brother off camera, you don't know what the Most High might have on that spirit. They may have did something in their past life that they just began to pay for in this life. So the Lord took away them early. But really built onto the issues of death, the Most High belongs to the issues of death. So the Lord could really take you out for any reason. But does that apply? Yeah, that applies. That applies. All right, so we just ended on that. Of course, we want to give all honor, glory, and praise unto Yahweh, Ba'Shem, Yahushai, Ba'Shem, Rachak with us. Double honors unto the apostles and those great millstones. Shalom to the hopeful elect. Wa Abba